Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if I still remember how to share shows. Welcome to Talking About Balls. We are back after a long hiatus. Excuse me. I am joined as always. We are talking about balls. I'm joined as always by Kyle Price, with Kyle Price. Kyle is in Florence, Italy. He said he wanted to go to the original Olive Garden. That is his favorite restaurant. So he has traveled all the way to Florence to just to check it out, to check out the classic cuisine. And we're grateful to have him on here. Yeah, he got the I don't even know what they sell. The tour of Italy. He went there to get the tour of Italy directly from Florence, and we are grateful to have him. But welcome back, man. We're doing it.
I don't know what do we do? What do we do with our hands? I don't understand.
Well, the funny thing for me is I've been thinking about the BS segment. For me, that's like the most pressure-filled one because I'm looking back going, what the fuck have I done for the last month? I know I've done shit. Like I've lived an entire month and a half or whatever, and I don't remember what I did.
I think I've got like maybe 2 or 3 highlights. That's pretty much it. But
I've done a lot of notes. I said I have some cliff notes. I went to a movie, which I'll talk about at the end of the show. That's going to be my tip for this week. I read some books. We had a 4th of July party. I think Teddy had a checkup in the middle of that. I don't remember. I've lived life. I don't know.
It's been so long.
What's hurting is I forgot when our last episode was.
I think middle of April, May. Beginning of May, maybe? I don't know. Middle? I don't know.
I think it was towards the end because we took all of June off, so it had to have been around then. Speaking of that, we'll get it out of the way now. So not only are we back today, we are off for another 2 weeks because next week is just I leave for vacation next Thursday, so I'm not doing a show the Wednesday before. I have packing to do, and then we're gone for a week. We come back the next weekend. So we will be off for 2 weeks, but that's okay because, again, it's the boring time. As soon as we come back, it will be training camp. So perfect timing. So what's new with you?
So cliff notes. Okay, let's make it quick. Let's see. 4th of July. Had 5 days of nonstop fun with friends and family. Golfed a lot. Had a couple parties. The one biggest thing I can take away from the last probably 30 days is I have never, ever been a fan of avocado, and I suddenly became a huge fan of avocado and guacamole, and I've been eating it every day since then. I don't know why. Just suddenly it just came on, and I had it one night at a Mexican restaurant with Jess. We went and had street tacos. They put little avocado slices on it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I've always not liked it. I just didn't like the texture. I didn't like the color. Ate it, loved it, and I've been eating it ever since. So that's the biggest accomplishment.
I find that very funny because I just assumed most people like avocado. I've always eaten avocado, no problem. Avocado toast. Have you had avocado toast yet?
Nope, not yet. Not yet.
Go to a good brunch place and look for an avocado toast. It's going to blow your balls off. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of. That's one of the biggest accomplishments. And also in the last probably 30 days, never been a big fan of banana peppers. Huge fan of banana peppers now.
I don't mind them when they're pickled and chopped or like cut up already. Yeah. Like the pepperoncini that they give you from like Papa John's or whatever with your pizza box. I don't fuck with those.
I mean, I've just made some big, huge food accomplishments. So that's kind of what I've done in the last 30 days. But another side note, I've changed my, I've been on this like weight loss thing. So I was doing semaglutide for a while. I changed to a trizepatide, which is there's the avocado freaks. There we go. Kyle's growing up.
Yeah, of course, Kyle falls in love with avocados when we kick out all the immigrants that were getting them to us for free or for cheap.
So, I don't understand. But I switched to a trizepatide, which is kind of the faster acting stuff, which is it's kind of messed with me a little bit. I've had some like side effects, which has kind of sucked a little bit, but no, man, I've just enjoyed the last 30 days, golfed a lot as much as I can. Jess and I suddenly have golfed together twice now. Jess is now a golfer. My beautiful wife. We went out for the first time probably about a month ago. Just her and I went to Brentwood over in LaGrange and had a good time. She didn't tee off all the time. She didn't want to watch, people watch her golf, but she'd take the second or third shot. She putts well. She's actually a really good chipper. But we had a good time. And then we went out with her parents 2 weeks ago to Pine Brook over by our house. And she did well. She got the ball off the ground. She had fun. I think the best part of her game is that she just likes wearing really cute outfits. So win-win for me, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely worse things.
but
That's
no,
not bad at all. Going golfing with your spouse is actually kind of fun.
it's a win-win.
Um,
Golf, which I love
yeah.
golfing, and then I get to spend time with her, which is a win for her. I think, right? Yeah, no.
Yeah, so in the comments, excuse me, George says our last broadcast was May 27th. So yeah, we went to Cedar Point on the 30th of May. So
Awesome.
we've been off for over a month. Yeah, we took Teddy to Cedar Point. They don't announce us on their website, which is annoying. Apparently, you have to be able to walk as a kid to do rides in the kiddie park.
What?
So it says that there's no height limit. So we're like, okay, perfect. We'll take Teddy. And we took her, and then we get in line. Tara stands there for like 20 minutes, gets up to the front, and the lady's like, okay, I just need you to let her go, and I need to see her take a step. And Tara's like, oh, she doesn't really walk yet. And of course, Tara holds her, like stands her up. She can stand up, no problem. So she's just standing there, and Tara's like, come on, take one step and you can get on. And she just dropped onto her butt. And the lady was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't let her on. We're like, cool. So I can't ride anything today. But we were able to ride like the carousel and stuff like that. But we thought we were going to be able to take her on most of the things in the kiddie park because I looked on their website in advance. And I mean, we have season passes, so it's not a big deal. So we just went out there for the day. I took a Friday off, and it was actually dead. So that was kind of nice. But yeah, they wouldn't let her on anything except for like the carousel and shit like that. So that sucked.
Oh, here we go. Avocado. Here goes the light bulb.
Avocado homo.
So, I mean, honestly, I would have complained the fact that it had nothing listed on their website, and I've never heard that rule before, which is weird.
Yeah, because I looked up specifically rides that had no height limit and like kids rides and things like that, and it says, you know, as long as the kid's with an adult, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, perfect. And then they're like, no, they need to take a step. I'm like, what the fuck? Your website does not say that.
So did you ride any rides that day or no?
No, we didn't. We just hung out with Teddy, walked around, got drunk, went to the saloon area and got my favorite drink, the Gunslinger, which is basically a Long Island iced tea just with cranberry juice instead of Coke. So they put every liquor they have there. It's like $15 or whatever, but it is worth it because you get all the alcohol you want, or every alcohol, I should say. It wasn't bad. The day though, it was fun. The weather was perfect. Leading up to it, we were kind of in limbo because, you know, Sandusky gets a lot of rain, and this was end of May, so it's still kind of like the rainy season. And we were like, all right, well, checking the radar every day, or the weather outlook, and eventually we get to Friday, and it was beautiful. Didn't rain a drop. Weather was perfect. Teddy napped in her stroller, kind of. She was a trooper. We were out there from like 10 a.m. till like 5 p.m., maybe 6 p.m. So it was a long day for her. She was great. We had a blast. It was fun. Definitely looking forward to going back as soon as she starts walking, but that is still TBD. Other than that, yeah, we saw a movie. We went to Cedar Point. I'm kind of going through my social media to see what I posted about.
You golfed?
We went golfing. I forgot Father's Day happened. Yeah, so Father's Day we went golfing. We went to Royal Crest.
Yeah, no. I think you did Royal Crest in your post, yeah.
Was it Royal Crest? It might have been. I don't remember. I'm really bad at remembering golf course names. So yeah, we went golfing for Father's Day, had some fun, had family over. And then, yeah, I hosted a 4th of July party. Long story short, Tara's parents typically host the 4th of July every year at their house. And this year they decided not to because they went somewhere else on the 4th. So we said, well, fuck it. Most of Tara's family has not seen our house yet. So we were like, let's just do like a combo. They can all come over for the 4th and finally see our house. 2 birds with 1 stone, so we don't have to throw like a big housewarming party or something, even though we've almost lived here for a year. So we decided to do that. So we had all of her family over, and we had my immediate family. We had like 40, 50 people. Luckily, when you have an acre and a half, there's plenty of room, and you didn't even notice them. So a lot of them went down the hill. We set up some inflatable pools, and it was really fucking hot on Saturday. So people were jumping in the pool. A lot of the adults were getting drunk and hanging out in the water. I manned the grill. I made like 40 burgers and 40 hot dogs. We made chicken on the grill. I had the Blackstone going. We had a lot going on. So it was a good time. Had fun. And yeah, again, I'm trying to think of like what else I did. Again, I did some cool shit. It was just nothing like memorable. It's just I'm a dad, so I come home from work, I hang out with the family, and then, you know, we go do shit, and that's it. That's pretty much life. It was really fucking hot. We had that huge heat wave, which was annoying as hell. We officially booked our Disney trip. Yeah, that happened after the fact. So we officially booked Disney. We bought all of our tickets. I got the Not So Scary Mickey tickets for Halloween night, which is very highly coveted and sought after. I was able to get those. They have since sold out, and but we're locked in. I changed up our Airbnb. I found us a new Airbnb to go to. What else? What else? I had a lot of trouble with my internet for the last month, and that's been annoying as fuck. Long story short, I won't get. I've told the story 100 times to people, and it irritates me even thinking about it. So we had those storms a few weeks ago, and it was like a Wednesday night, I think, and really bad windstorms knocked my power out. My power ended up being out for about 12 hours or so. So the power's out. I get up Thursday morning. I text my boss. I say, hey, my power didn't come back on. I'm going to stay home for a little bit. I got to at least go get a cooler. I got to try to get my food to make sure nothing goes bad because it had all been in the fridge all night. But it was still cold. But I was like, I can't let it keep doing this. He's like, no problem. So Tara texts her dad or calls her dad, and she's just like, hey, do you happen to have an extra cooler? We're going to put all of our food on ice. And he goes, I'll do you one better. I have a generator. But I can't fit it in my car. Justin's going to have to come get it. I said, no problem. All right. So I get dressed, head to his house. We get the generator loaded up. He sits shotgun. We go back to my house to unload it. And I'm about to turn down my street. Tara calls me and goes, hey, power just came back on. Sure did. Of course it did. So
right, of course.
Power came back on, which, I'm happy about. I'm glad we didn't have to run the generator, so I'm cool with that. And then ever since then, all of a sudden my internet started acting up. It was going out all the time. Constantly, like I couldn't play. Like I got Call of Duty a few months ago or whatever. I've been playing the fuck out of that. I've prestiged twice. It's kind of embarrassing to admit how much I've played it. I've prestiged twice already. I play it a lot. And so my internet was really shitty. It just kept literally to the point where it would kick me out of games. My TVs were all freezing up. We stream everything, so I couldn't do anything. So I reach out to Spectrum, and they're like, yeah, we can see you're having an issue with your signal. We'll send a tech out. All right, cool. Tech comes by. I'm at work. Tara's home. He switches the modem. We use their modem. So he switches it out, says, your modem was fried because of the storm. Here's a brand new one. You should be good to go. All right, cool. He leaves. I come home from work. Tara texts me before I even get home. Internet's out again. Like, what the fuck? We have a brand new modem. What do you mean it's out? So I reach out to Spectrum, and at this point, I'm pissed. I'm like, all right, my internet's still out. Your tech just left. Send another tech. And they're like, yeah, maybe tomorrow or Thursday or whatever day. I'm like, what do you mean I have to wait another couple days? Your tech literally just left. Have somebody come finish the job you were scheduled to do today. No, it looks like our first availability is this day. Best we can do, though, is if somebody cancels, we can put you at the top of the list to get that in. And I went off. I was like, that's not good enough. I'm going to go outside and smash this fucking modem. I was so fucking pissed. They're like, oh, we don't recommend smashing the modem. You'll get charged for it. I said, I would never pay for that. Not in a million years. I'll smash it and you'll never get a fucking dime out of me. I went off on these people. I was so goddamn mad.
Karen Justin on
it. I was pissed because I'm like, dude, you already had a tech at my house. And they're like, all right, well, sorry, your internet still doesn't work. We'll send another tech in 2 days. Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, all right, whatever. Get me an appointment. Dude comes. 2 days later, shows up, goes about doing the, he runs a new line from the outside into my house, all the way through the garage, brand new modem, the works. Fuck yeah. Internet looks good. He tests everything. He says everything's great. He was also a really cool guy. His name was actually Justin. Shout out to Justin if he's watching this, because he inquired about the show. I told him we do a podcast talking about balls. He's a huge sports fan. Great guy. Justin from Spectrum, thank you again for all the work you did at my house. But unfortunately, not your fault. The next day, I found a trend. At about 1 o'clock every day after he left, my internet went out. It happened for like two or three consecutive days, and it was always between 1 and 4. So I reached out to Spectrum again. I'm like, listen, I actually called a guy this time, and I was very calm. And he answered the phone. He's like, hi, thank you for calling Spectrum, whatever. How can I help you? And I said, let me preface this call with, I understand it's not your fault specifically, but I said, your company is really on my last nerve right now, and I'm going to tell you why. And I told him the whole story, and I'm like, you guys have sent 2 texts to my house. I've had 2 new modems. I've had a new line ran, and I still don't have internet. What the fuck? And he's checking everything, and he's like, okay. He's like, I can do a more extensive search from here. And he's like, yeah, it looks like there's something wrong with our connection outside. And I'm like, yeah, you don't say. I tried telling them that because all they tell me when I reach out to the chat people is, try unplugging it. That's not the fucking
Oh, the
problem.
old IT reset. Yeah.
And then they had the audacity, and this almost sent me off a fucking ledge. They sent me an email that said, hey, just a recommendation. We do offer our own routers if you want to use one of our routers, and since your internet's not working. I'm like, my router's fucking fine. It's your internet to the modem, you pieces of shit. So long story short, they eventually sent another tech out a couple days later, and he comes, and his job was to specifically go check the pole outside, and it was shot. So we replaced all that. They had to send a truck out with the lift, and a whole crew had to come out and fix their outside thing. It has since been fixed. My internet has not gone out once.
So what's funny about that, not to and to piggyback off that, about a month ago, because I've been working from home a lot now with this new role, and obviously Jess always works from home. Between the hours of like 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., we saw like a huge dip in like internet speed, or it just going out for like a minute, then kicking back out. We have Breezeline.
Okay.
By us. So I called them twice, and the first person sent us a new upgraded router. She just said, "Here, take this one, do whatever you got to, whatever." And it was fine for a couple weeks, couple days. And it started doing it again. So I called, and the guy like looked into it, and he's like, "You know what we're seeing is in your area," and he goes, "I'm surprised because there's so many houses and so many customers. No one else has complained about this yet. But there's a dip. There's something going on with our service that puts it out to everyone else in that time. Like something's not translating. Like it's like this almost, right?" So he's like, "I'm gonna send a tech out. I'm gonna have like somebody come out," and like suddenly, like 5-6 hours later, we get a text message from them saying, "Hey, it's been fixed." Blah blah blah. We've never had an issue since then. So it must have been something like you said in the poll or whatever, where it was coming from to go out to everybody. He didn't come to our house. I think they were at the top of our street though, but. It's crazy. It's funny how that works out, but yeah, I mean, it's always like, hey, have you pulled the power out for 30 seconds and put it back in? Cool. Have you tried connecting to this? Cool. Have you swapped out the power source?
Unplug both your router and your modem and let them sit for 30 seconds, please, as if that's going to just automatically give them good internet.
I call IT. I always go through everything I've done already. Like, all right, I've done this, and this. What's next? Like, I don't want to go through.
That's exactly what I did. I said, I've unplugged it all 10 times. We have tried everything. I've unplugged this and then plugged that in first. George, I would have given you a call, but unless you were willing to come here and climb up in the bucket and get lifted up to fix the pole, don't think you could have been much help because I knew it was their fault. Yeah, it was fucking frustrating as hell. And luckily, though, Spectrum was really nice about it, and they gave me $3.99 off my bill for my shitty internet for 2 weeks.
$3.99? Woo!
Well, I told Tara this too, because Tara was like, you should bitch and get a discount. And I said, well, we have a deal when we first moved in, so we pay $40 a month. It's $39.99 to have 1 gig of internet. And I said, because we only pay $39.99, they're going to look at it as, all right, well, you lost internet for like a couple days, so they're only going to take off a few dollars. Sure shit. They're like, oh yeah, we put a $3.99 credit on your account. And I just backed out of the chat. I'm like, I'm not even going to fucking argue. I don't care.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. But I'm glad to see that it's working again. So that's great.
Yeah, it's. I was pissed. I was so fucking frustrated, mostly because I was trying to like. 1 to 4 p.m. is literally Teddy's nap time. We put her down for a nap at 1 o'clock. So this was on Saturdays and Sundays. As soon as she goes down for a nap, I run downstairs to the den and I play video games. I play Call of Duty. And it was kicking me out of the game. So that's what got me more frustrated than anything, was like, this is my free time. My daughter's sleeping. This is when I get my video games in. And you motherfuckers aren't letting me play. I was so pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I mean, what I'm just waiting for fiber. Like, it's fiber's in our development.
It's not available in my area. I'm dying for it.
It's in half our development right now. It's not in the other half. I keep on waiting to see who covers fiber so I can switch over to it, because that's the answer right now. I'm tired of dealing with cable companies. It's horrible.
Yeah. So well, that's life.
So now we're all caught up, even though we've pretty much covered a Cliff Notes version of what we've done in the last 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything that important. I had Father's Day, went to Cedar Point, golfed, lived life, just hung out. We went out to dinner for Father's Day. It was the Friday after Father's Day. We went out to eat with my dad, and we went to Pomeroy House in Strongsville, and we sat on their patio. It was a beautiful night. It was a Friday. It was actually really hot. It was also the night of Strongsville like rib cook off thing or whatever was happening right across the street. And we go to Pomeroy House and sitting on the patio. It's covered by trees, whatever. And all of a sudden we're eating and it's like, oh shit, it's raining a little bit. And we look out, we're like, yeah, it's coming down, but we were covered by leaves. So we were like, we weren't really getting that wet. So it wasn't a big deal. So we didn't think much of it. All of a sudden the fucking a floodgate opened up in the sky and it rained harder than I think I've ever seen it rain, to the point where it filled up the fucking patio. Their sewer drains couldn't keep up with the water. So we're literally standing in like 6 inches of water on the Pomeroy House patio. I'm looking out across at the people. I feel bad for them at the fucking...
I think I saw these photos that Tara shared. Yeah, it looked funny.
Yeah, I'm looking across the street at the people at the rib cook-off. They got soaked. I'm literally up to my ankles with water. We're holding Teddy. Branches are falling off of trees into the patio. Luckily, there's umbrellas. So eventually, I told Tara, I'm like, go run into the fucking hostess stand because it's covered. I'm like, go stand with the people that work here. Like, they're not going to tell you no. I'm like, go run over there. So it was pretty fucking wild. Rain for like, I don't know, 20 straight minutes. Hard as fuck. Yeah, the tree branch fell right behind Tara and Teddy. But again, they had an umbrella. But yeah, it was fucked up. It was crazy. All that for a 20-minute rain. So that was one of the nights we had. Other than that, again, haven't done too much. I've been super busy just prepping for this I call it the 5th of July party that we had. Because I hadn't done a lot of work outside on my house. I cut the grass. That's about it. I do that, regularly. But since we were hosting, I'm like, fuck, now I'm going to have to mulch. We're going to actually have to like do some nice things. So I had to buy like 40 plus bags of mulch, put it all down myself. It looks good, but it was a lot of work. And then, yeah, doing the yard, I'm out there spraying for bugs. I'm spraying for weeds. I'm like trying to clean everything up. And in the last week or two, I was exhausted. So got it done. Everything looked great. Party was a great success. And that's it. I mean, that was life. That's pretty much it.
So you're doing all the normal house owning things. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just all multiplied by 10 because of the fucking size of the place. That's what sucks. I'm used to my Brook Park house where cutting the grass took me about an hour and I only needed about 20 bags of mulch for the entire house. And even that was kind of a little too much. This year, 40 plus bags. Didn't even get to mulch all the spots I wanted to. I could still go mulch in the back by the shed. I didn't put any down there because I ran out of time. And cutting the grass I learned is an all-day event. Because I tried to come home from work one day, and I was like, all right, I'm going to come home from work. I'm going to get the grass going as soon as I get home, and then we'll be good for the party on Friday. This was on last Wednesday. I race home, start working on the yard. All of a sudden, it's like 8 o'clock, and I go, don't have enough time. I'm not getting this done tonight. So I'm like, it started to get dark. I'm like, I'm going to have to come back out tomorrow and maybe even finish up on Friday because I was off work for the 4th.
So the riding lawnmower you have?
Well, because of my yard and how it slants at certain spots, it's way too steep for the riding mower. So I have to do the riding mower, the push mower, and the weed whacker, all three as a combo. And yeah, it give or take takes about, I'd say 4 hours total to get it all done.
Time to invest in that zero-turn mower now that you can handle going up and down those hills.
Well, I can't go over the bridges in the zero turn because zero turns are like 2,000 pounds or whatever. So yeah, that's why I had to get the riding mower. Otherwise, I'd definitely have a zero turn.
So how long did that flood last in your backyard? I saw the videos and photos.
Oh, it went down before I even got home from work. It goes down quick.
Okay. A lot of debris back there?
What's up?
Was it a lot of debris that came up with the water?
No, not really. There's not a whole lot in there. There's pretty much nothing in the creek. It just fills with water and goes right into like a canal thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all connected from the city, so it goes somewhere. But yeah, it filled up because it was raining up. I mean, we got like fucking 10 inches of rain over those 2 days or whatever. So eventually the creek in the backyard got a little tall, went up and gave the bottom of the trampoline a little bit of a wash, and then it went away.
That's amazing.
All right. Well, with that said, I got nothing else for the BS. I'm going to try to actually have a good memory because, again, yeah.
It's a long time, man. We're also getting old, so I get it. It's fine.
Yeah, and again, I don't do anything that fun anymore with the baby. I got a tattoo. I went out there was a Friday the 13th in June, so I got the nun. If you could see where is she? There she is. In my arm. This is an awkward angle. There's the nun right there in the ditch of my arm.
I see her. In the nook and cranny there. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so I got the nun tattooed, and that was a fun day. I'd left a half day of work. I went and got the tattoo, and then on my way home, I went and stopped at Brew Kettle and had a couple beers and some lunch by myself and enjoyed some alone time. So that was fun. And yeah, that's it. I mean, over the next couple of weeks should be really cool. I should have a lot to talk about. Yeah, the nun tattoo, I'm going to try to get touched up. Tara doesn't love it. And I agree. He did a little.
Where'd you go?
I went to Drop Dead out there in North Ridgeville. Different artist. He's a guy who he did my last tattoos that I got. His name's Ben. When I got tattooed by him the first time, he like just started. He's young. Was an apprentice. Now he's a full-time artist there. I've been following him on social media.
Guys that come up to game day all the time. I'm trying to think.
No, this kid's only like 19 or 18 years old, so he wouldn't be up there. He's a really cool kid. So he's a dude that when I went up there, they actually ask you, like, do you have a preference of an artist? Because you can just say whoever, or you can pick one. And I picked him to do mine specifically. What I think had happened, though, was when he was putting the stencil on, the way a tattoo stencil looks, if you've ever seen it, is it doesn't look like the final picture. There's a lot of like weird lines and stuff, so they kind of know like how to shape the face. And I think some of the lines got kind of blended as it got put on my arm. Because I think what happened, I think he put it on once, took it off, didn't like the placement, washed it off, put it on a second time. And the way it works is your stencil has like an ink on it that sticks to your skin. It's like a press-on tattoo or whatever. And then you take it off. But the more you do it, obviously the fainter it gets. You could kind of screw some things up. So hard to see here on my arm, but the mouth area, I think the lines got a little screwed up. So basically, she doesn't have a mouth. It's just a bunch of lines because the way it was connected on the picture didn't show up that way on the final tattoo. And I noticed it after the fact because when he did it while I was there, when you get a tattoo, you're kind of like, I don't know. On a day like that, it wasn't like a normal appointment. So when you're finished, it's kind of like, here's your money. Let me wrap it up for you. Go on home. So I get to Brew Kettle. You're supposed to leave the wrapping on for like an hour or so. And it had been like 45 minutes. And I was about to walk into a bar. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to walk in with a giant saran wrap paper towel on my arm like a fucking weirdo. So I took it off. And as I'm sitting in my car looking at it, I'm like, my mouth's kind of fucked up. So I just sent a picture to Tara right away. And I'm like, not loving the mouth. So I got to reach out to him and have him do a touch up and try to connect that mouth and actually make it look like an actual face. So
what'd you pay for it up there? I'm just curious what the prices are up there.
So I went on Friday the 13th where they do specials. So they basically have, they have like 100 sheets on the wall and each sheet tells you like each tattoo has a specific price. I think they're anywhere from like $33 to like $200. I think this was $80.
It's not bad. I mean, it's pretty good. I'm still trying to pull a trigger in mine. Jess is wanting to get another one already. I still am just trying to pull a trigger in mine. I want a full arm just done the right side. I got a design in mind, but I know it's going to be a lot of work and I know it's going to be a lot of money. I'm just trying to find the right person to have it done. So
you get one half of an avocado, Jess gets the other, and then one of you has to get the seed in the middle, and then you guys can like put your arms together, and then it connects and makes a whole avocado.
I like that idea. That's cute.
That's love. That's love right there. You're welcome. I'll give you that idea for free. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much what I got. Will told me he would have charged $90 for the one I spent $55 on.
Will told me he would have charged $90. Who's Will? Oh,
Will was one of the artists at Drop Dead.
Yeah, I think it's a big guy. Yeah, the bigger dude.
Yeah, he's a huge wrestling fan. He used to go to AIW shows. He used to actually
at the game day just talking about whoever with whoever. Yeah,
I remember before I ever went to Drop Dead, I saw him at AIW shows because he's got like he has tattoos on his cheeks. So he's a good artist, so he would draw wrestlers that would come to AIW shows and like he'd like hand draw like a painting of them and have them like sign it or give it to him or whatever. So he's a cool dude. He's been up there forever. I've never been tattooed by him.
He's a very cool dude. He really loves Chaperone Pink Pony Club because he plays it every fucking time he walks into that goddamn bar. But good for him.
I think I've heard that song once or twice. Tara played it for me because I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a hit.
Yeah, it's something. I hate mainstream radio. So I've like I said, if Tara doesn't play it for me, there's a 99% chance I've never heard the songs before.
Hey, between Tara and TikTok, I'm sure you've heard it somewhere. So I'm glad.
I haven't been on TikTok in probably, honestly, since the last time I made a TikTok. I don't go on TikTok ever.
You're missing out.
I hate videos because I don't want any sound playing, so like it defeats the purpose. I take that back. I went on TikTok one time recently, and that was on Father's Day while I was golfing because there's a dude whose name is like Dave Fink, and he gives really cool golf lessons on TikTok. I think it's Dave Fink. I'll have to double check. But he always
a lesson on.
I was having some issues with my irons that day, and I was pissed off. So I looked up Dave Fink's TikTok and I typed in irons, and right away he's like, "Here's a tip," and he shows it. And he like swears and shit, and he doesn't look like he looks like a
Is it the
stoner
guy with
almost.
the long hair? The long
Yes.
hair? Yo, the dude who plays in Ireland all the time. Yeah.
So when he finishes, he always just looks at the camera and he's like, "Fix shit, simplify shit, have fun, fucking golfing," or something like that. And then he like swings a club and crushes it. Yeah, I actually had a pretty good day with my irons that day because I needed to work on my placement. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? So I'm like, fuck it. I'm sitting here waiting for like Tara's dad to hit or whatever. Or we had a slow group in front of us. So I'm like, while I have a minute, I'm like, fuck it. I'm looking up Dave Fink tips.
Nice.
So yeah, it was fun. Had a good time. I played Cardboard Crack for the first time and I lost $14. So thank you for that, Kyle. I'd never played before.
I've shown you my winners when I hit them. I'm not saying that we always got winners, but we've unprecedentedly won more $500 like pulls at game day than I've ever seen anyone pull before. I think we're up to 6 or 7 now. It's insane.
Well, the shipment with $500 winners must have gotten skipped over from pounders because I bought like 20 of them and I think I won $6. So I'm down $14 to Cardboard Crack.
Hey, so you won $6. It's whatever you won.
Yeah,
something.
I mean that's how I look at it. I was like, all right, they weren't all losers, so it was fun. The only problem is I truly like never have cash on me, so that's why that was all the cash I had in my wallet. So I looked at Tara, I'm like, $20 going in the Cardboard Crack machine.
Was it the ones that had 500 as the max, or was it 599 the max?
I have no idea. Didn't even think to look for that.
Some bars have like the 599 max ones, which is probably the most you can get, I think, and some have the 500. And then I just noticed the other day, I went to Friendship gas station to get like a Gatorade and a Red Bull, and I noticed they had Cardboard Crack and they had $300 max. I didn't get it there. I'm like, this is a line I can't cross.
I think they have the Cardboard Crack at there's a beer store right down the street from me on Pearl and Whitney. It's called Whitney Beverage. I've gone in there a few times to get beer. I'm pretty sure they have a Cardboard Crack machine right in the front because I went in one time and there was a guy just standing there just playing it, and I'm just like, all right, that's what you want to spend your day doing. That's fine.
Another gas station I go to, the Marathon, the one the Arabic people own. They have.
Oh yeah, I go to that one all the time.
They have a Keno machine in there. So there's people who randomly go in there. Like I'll go in there and get beer or water or whatever, right? Cigarettes for Jess. And there's people standing by the Keno machine just playing Keno at the bar. at the gas station. I'm like, come on.
But you have to watch it. So they buy a ticket and just hang out there?
They just sit there, yeah.
I just go, if you're going to play Keno, go to a bar. Go to somewhere with like you can sit down and have a beer and like.
I don't understand what the point is of going to a gas station to play Keno, but hey.
That's so weird. To each their own. To each their own.
That makes me feel better about myself. I'm like, okay, I'm not there yet, so we're okay.
Yeah, no, that's sad. Just like go somewhere like where you can sit and like enjoy yourself a little bit and like, eat a meal or something. I don't know, but whatever. To each their own. Right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the BS segment. We will get right into it with the sports. I wanted to start off with talking, of course, about the team in the middle of everything. I did start with the NBA. I thought I was starting off with the Guardians. Good call. Thank you for putting that up, George, because I was about to get right into Guardian talk. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for winning their first NBA championship as a franchise since they have moved from Seattle.
Congratulations for a torn Achilles. Let's preface this first. Because I think the Pacers are winning that series if he didn't get hurt.
Shout out to Justin from Spectrum, who brought up a little nugget of info, fun fact, and told me to use it on the show, but make sure I credit him. Everyone who tore their Achilles in the end of the season this year wore the number 0. Dame Lillard, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, and I didn't even think about that because this was the night before Game 7, I think, that he came over and worked on the internet. So, anybody wearing the number 0 is I'd be careful about that Achilles. More Achilles tears than I can ever remember in NBA, and unfortunately, well, depending on who you're asking, all from the East. So the Bucks are now without Dame Lillard, who they have since released. The Boston Celtics are, of course, going to be without Jason Tatum for the full year because he tore his Achilles in the playoffs. And Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers, made the official announcement today, which was not surprising to the other day, which was not surprising to anybody, that Tyrese Halliburton will miss the entire season.
What a pathway.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but at the end of the day, all I can think about is when they were beating the Cavs and he stood there on the middle of the Cavs court waving at the fans, being a piece of shit. So, sucks for you, buddy. Easy path for the Cavs next year, technically, by default. depending on what these other teams do. There is still, the NBA offseason is happening. And the Cavs have made some moves. They have made a trade. They dumped Isaac Okoro to the Chicago Bulls for Lonzo Ball. I like the move personally. A lot of fans didn't really understand it. Lonzo Ball is a good defender and an okay offensive player. Isaac Okoro was a good defender and a bad offensive player. So it's an upgrade, assuming Lonzo Ball can stay on the court. That's the biggest issue with him in his career is he has not been able to stay healthy. Now, there's a part of me that thinks he's a member of the Ball family. They are kind of, I don't want to say pieces of shit, but they're kind of selfish people. Makes me kind of wonder, was he really hurt or was it because he played on the Chicago Bulls that he just said, fuck it, I don't really want to be out there? A little bit of mixed feelings on that. But he's a Cavalier now. He seems pretty excited to be here. The Cavs also welcomed back local legend Larry Nance Jr. He is signed back with the Cavaliers, and he has actually transformed his game a little bit. A lot of fans, I don't know if they know that. He shoots a lot of corner threes, and he's pretty good at them. Last year, he was a really good corner three-point shooter, and that's something that he's a great jumper, too. He can dunk, he can get rebounds, and now he can shoot the ball pretty well. So that's pretty exciting. I'm very happy about that. He's a good addition. There's rumors Kevin Love could be in the fold. He just got released from the Utah Jazz. I personally shout out to Don P. Don P made a post on Facebook today, and he said, if the Cavs could bring in one more veteran, who do you want it to be? Because we have one more roster spot open. And he said, do you want it to be Kevin Love, Chris Paul, or somebody else? Personally, I love Kevin Love. You know that. I clicked Chris Paul. I would prefer Chris Paul on the Cavs. Kevin Love really shouldn't be on an NBA court anymore. He's kind of washed. I would take Kevin Love. But at the same time, if you're releasing Tristan Thompson, which I know fans maybe don't love the thought of that, but if you get rid of Tristan Thompson and bring in Kevin Love, I'm okay with that.
Between the two, you're going to get more valuable minutes out of Kevin Love than you will Tristan.
100%. Kevin Love can at least score.
Yeah,
and they can both get rebounds, whereas Tristan Thompson can pretty much only get rebounds, and that's it. So if you're going to have a 6'10" guy on your bench.
The reason why I don't want Kevin Love back is the same reason why I don't want like a LeBron back. I don't want any of these names that we fell in love with back, because all you're going to do is just bitch and complain. You want him to get more minutes, and he's not worthy of those minutes, right? I shouldn't have said LeBron, because LeBron probably is worthy of the minutes. But
yeah, LeBron James would definitely start, so he'd get plenty of minutes.
What I'm saying is that people are going to really, they're going to gravitate towards once we start doing bad, they're like, oh, well, why is Kevin Love not in the starting lineup, or why is Kevin Love not the sixth man off the bench, right? And I don't want to deal with that whole.
I feel like I feel like Kenny Atkinson I trust more than anybody. When it comes to minute management, I feel like if we got LeBron back, which I'm not saying is going to happen, because the odds of getting LeBron back,
so much smoke we're right now with that, right? There's so many conversations going on about that whole LeBron thing.
Well, the biggest thing that I think that a lot of people are failing to realize is that the only way the Cavs can really bring LeBron in, realistically speaking, don't get me wrong, I know, yes, they could make some crazy trades to get him. They have no interest in doing that. He has to get bought out.
Yep.
He would have to basically be released from the Los Angeles Lakers and signed to the Cavaliers for league minimum $3 million or whatever the fuck, veterans minimum. So the odds of him coming to Cleveland and doing that, super slim. I don't see it happening. As much as I would take LeBron back in a second. I can't believe there are actually arguments from people on the internet of, would you take LeBron back in a fucking second? He's one of the best players in basketball. I would take him here in a heartbeat.
Depending on what we'd have to give up for him, I don't want him back. If we have to give up key pieces of this lineup, it's not worth bringing him back. I just don't.
If it's the rumors I saw thrown around where we'd have to, obviously, because of our apron situation, we can't do a straight up trade, so we'd have to do multiple teams. So we'd have to do the things I saw were if they traded Jared Allen and Darius Garland, they would be the two pieces to get LeBron James. I would do that in a heartbeat. Darius Garland just is gone, and then your starting point guard, that's where you sign Chris Paul, because you have LeBron James here. So Chris Paul is your starting point guard. You then still have Lonzo Ball coming off the bench. Boom. There's your 1 and 2. You have Craig Porter Jr. as your third point guard. You're set. LeBron James obviously becomes your starting small forward. DeAndre Hunter comes off the bench. DeAndre Hunter splits time with coming in for Mitchell, coming in for LeBron. And then you have Sam Merrill, who the Cavs re-signed to come in. So you're good at guard. Power forward,
what are your
obviously you're going to go
Sam Merrill signing now? You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. I think he's a key part of our team. He's a great shooter. That's exactly what we need off the bench. We need scorers, especially in Kenny Atkinson's offense. Kenny Atkinson's offense is built around shooting threes and fast-paced offense, and that's what Sam Merrill brings. Now, the loss of Ty Jerome has definitely caused an uproar with Cleveland Browns fans, but Ty Jerome, and I love him. I want to preface this with I loved Ty Jerome. He was so fun to watch last year, and he helped us win so many games. However, with that being said, now that the blinders are off because the season is over and you can speak honestly about everybody, Ty Jerome was a liability. Ty Jerome was a huge defensive liability, but he made up for it because we were scoring and we were up by so much and everyone else was hitting shots and we were winning games. In games that were tight, Ty Jerome was really a big defensive liability, and that showed tremendously against the Pacers. Against the Pacers, Ty Jerome became unplayable. Kenny Atkinson literally did not bring him in until the fourth quarter of the Cavs. I think it was game 5, our last game of the season, because he was so bad in that series, we couldn't even put him in. He was exposed. They knew exactly where he would be on offense, so they were able to get in his spots. And then on defense, they were picking him apart. So if Ty Jerome isn't scoring, he's really hurting your team. Kudos to him. He got the bag from Memphis. He got a great contract. But in terms of the Cavaliers and what they're looking for moving forward, Lonzo Ball coming in off the bench or Craig Porter Jr., a guy like that, Craig Porter Jr. could score. He can hit shots. He can dribble. He can pass. Can play a little bit better defense than Ty Jerome. So all we kind of did was upgrade our own position. We upgraded from within, I should say. We took a guy, Craig Porter Jr., who's been with the Cavaliers organization for years, and we just said, all right, it's your time. We're going to win or die with him.
Yeah, I agree. I think, during the playoffs, we were talking pretty common about how the fact he was just shooting himself out of the contract. Like what he was doing in the playoffs, he was making himself a liability. Every time he threw the ball up, he was chucking the ball up in positions and situations you should not be doing that. You should have passed the ball around a couple more times, but he wanted to take it upon himself to try to be, hero ball, right? And every time he threw the ball up, he was like 1 for 10, 1 for 11, whatever. He was shooting himself out of the contract, which we all knew was coming.
He went from being a legitimate 6th man of the year contender to and this is not an exaggeration, Kenny Atkinson wouldn't play him. He wouldn't take him off the bench because he was that bad. That's saying something. To me, that's a guy that if
season, great. He was a spark. He was someone who was fun to watch. But those were during games that didn't matter, where defenders weren't really defending, and he was getting those open looks, right? So, yeah. I agree with you. I completely agree with you on that one.
I feel like his loss isn't going to be that dramatic that Cavs fans are acting, in my opinion. I think, again, he was just a fun guy off the bench. In games that, the Cavs had the best record in the East last year. They were great. They won a lot of games. They had the best offense in NBA history almost. So they were winning a lot of games by a lot. So Ty Jerome coming in a game where you're already up by like 15 and going off for like 20 points, you're kind of like, oh yeah, this guy's so great. But then when we needed him to hit clutch shots and be clutch against the Pacers, he choked. I'm not saying that's just going to be him forever, but it's not a good look when you're trying to get a contract. And he was good with the Golden State Warriors and all that throughout his career. And then he came to Cleveland, got hurt, and then had one really great year. So in his whole entire NBA career, he's had one great year. And Cavs fans were like, how can you let this guy go? Like, I don't know. I think
in this team, he would never fit in that starting lineup. So,
and it's funny because before the season even, I think it was like right around when the playoffs started or something like that, there were fans that were bitching and saying that Ty Jerome needs to start over Darius Garland. He's better than Garland, blah, blah, blah. And it might have been Ken Carman, but there was somebody that tweeted, and I agreed completely. They're like, Ty Jerome would be a totally different player if he were starting in the NBA. And they didn't mean it as a compliment. They basically meant that like he would get exposed way more. And sure enough, when he starts getting significant minutes against the Pacers, when we needed him most in clutch games, when he's going up against some good talent, that's what happened. So sucks to see him go. One thing I did see, though, is that the Cavs drafted Proctor. I forgot his first name. Tyrese? Yeah, Tyrese Proctor, number 49 out of Duke. What I've seen, they gave him a guaranteed NBA contract, so he's not a two-way G League player. He will be on the Cavs roster. Rumors I saw is he's going to be basically taking over the Craig Porter Jr. role. He will be the new guard off the bench. I think they also really like Jalen Tyson. They're going to give him some significant minutes next year. He looked like he was really coming to his own and being a good player. So So I know Cavs fans are pretty pissed off because they're not making huge splashy moves, but the Cavs are doing what they should do. You draft talent, you develop said talent, and you hope that they turn into what you expected them to turn into. I mean, look at Sam Merrill is a guy that no one ever heard of. He's with the Cavaliers. He's hitting threes. He's coming off the bench. He's doing great. Dean Wade. Dean Wade was an undrafted free agent, comes to Cleveland, and I know he's not a great player, but he's a very productive, good player. Craig Porter Jr. developed in the Cavaliers organization. Darius Garland, a draft pick. Isaac Okoro was a draft pick. These guys were all developed. Evan Mobley, obviously another choice of theirs. So the Cavs have a pretty good track record of getting talent.
I assume Evan Mobley is going to transition again next year. Like these last 3 years for Evan.
He's only gotten better every year.
Transition. I think next year you're going to see a far better Evan Mobley next year. So
I do too. And I mean, I think that's something that they're really going to put a focus on. If you're Kenny Atkinson, was Evan Mobley, as the year progressed, got more and more comfortable shooting threes. And I think next year he's going to be a scoring machine. I mean, I think he averaged like almost 19 points a game this year. So the Cavaliers are ready to roll with their current roster. Again, they have one spot open. Maybe they're going after a veteran. I don't really know. But we'll see what happens. Still a lot of offseason to go. Summer League is starting up next week, so that'll be fun to watch these young kids all play. And starting for the Cavs. I know other teams have already started, but the Cavs Summer League starts next week. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Other news around the NBA, there were some trades. You had Drew Holiday traded to the Portland Trailblazers for, I don't remember. Wasn't Jamari Grant? No. Fuck, I don't remember. This is where George, step in. Give me these trades. Kristaps Porzingis was traded to the Atlanta Hawks. Boston's doing exactly what Boston should be doing. Boston was a team that was in the second apron, and they are not going to be.
Or was that?
Anthony Simmons. That's who it was. So he was traded straight up for Drew Holiday because they had some draft picks thrown in, but apparently Drew Holiday didn't fail the physical, but he didn't have a good enough physical to where Portland would include draft picks. So all the draft picks got taken off the table. Porzingis got traded away from Boston. Al Horford is a free agent, and he is leaving Boston more than likely. And that's because Boston's, again, they're doing the right thing. They realize next year they're not going to be a championship contender because Jason Tatum is out for the year. So they are dumping the salary to get under the apron, and they are going to focus on the future. So good on them for doing that. That's a smart move. It's a shame if you're a Boston Celtics fan that you have to go, shit, we're basically punting on the season, but that's what you have to do when your star player tears his Achilles. Just ask Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers went from the Eastern Conference Finals to the finals, and as Kyle said, legitimately could have won the championship this year had Tyrese Halliburton not gotten hurt. But he hurt his calf, tried to play injured, and tore his Achilles because of it. And with that said, you're thinking, okay, now they just have to wait a year. Halliburton will be back, and then they can make another run for it. Nope, they decided to let Miles Turner go because Miles Turner said, fuck it, I'm not staying here. We're not going to win anything next year. So he went and signed with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the funny thing for me is the amount of people that are freaking out about that signing, that are bitching about the Cavs. This was all happening at once. They're like, look at the Knicks. The Knicks got better because they signed Jordan Clarkson and they hired Mike Brown. And then they said the Bucks got better. The Bucks signed Miles Turner. Now the Bucks signed Miles Turner, but they had to lose Dame Lillard and Brook Lopez. To me, the Bucks have not gotten better. If you look at their numbers, Miles Turner and Brook Lopez essentially put up the same numbers last year. They both put up about 6 rebounds and about 15 points a game. That's a wash. You got a younger version of of Brook Lopez.
Who'd Brook go to? Clippers?
Clippers, yes. Yeah. So Brook Lopez goes to the Clippers. I'm trying to think of some other big moves off the top of my head. Obviously, I think we talked about the Desmond Bane trade to Orlando. I think we talked about that before. That happened.
That was early.
I think that happened when we were still recording. A lot of moves. The Lakers get DeAndre Ayton, who was released from the Blazers.
Interesting, because I think that makes them a little better.
They needed a center. That was the biggest flaw on their team, was they needed a center. KD was traded to the Houston Rockets in a kind of a questionable move.
I don't understand that trade at all. I really don't.
I'm not too concerned about that, just because I KD was only great or like a threat when he played with Steph Curry. And then he tore his Achilles in the finals against the Toronto Raptors. And one thing I've kind of learned from being an NBA fan is guys that tear their Achilles really don't come back the same. And Kevin Durant has been that player. He can still score pretty well, but he's never been that guy that takes his team to the next level. So I'm not that concerned about the Houston Rockets being a contender next year. More power to them if they are, but I'm not that concerned. Michael Porter Jr. was traded from the Denver Nuggets for, I don't remember who. Damn it, I'm going all off the memory here. I don't remember. I need George, where are you at? You got to be quick with the keyboard there. I need the producer to put it in the chat.
Cam Johnson?
Cam Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, George. Boom.
What the hell, George? Are you back on the toilet? So a lot of moves happening around the NBA, a lot of interesting things, and I'm sure still more to come. I think last year the Karl Anthony Towns trade to the Knicks happened like a week before the season started. So there's definitely things that are going to still be happening. A lot of rumors get tossed around. And we'll see what happens. I'm trying to think if I missed anything else. There were a couple minor trades like Malachi Brannon, the old Ohio State player. He got traded from the Spurs to the Wizards, which is a non-factor trade in my opinion. The Hawks are really trying with the Porzingis deal. They're going for it, but not really that concerned. Clint Capella, speaking of the Hawks, he signed with the Houston Rockets as well. The Houston Rockets are all in. I don't know. That's really it. Nothing really too great has happened in the NBA.
Kyrie not signing that deal and just kind of opting out to sign the whatever. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't know why. What was the big deal with that? But people did make a big deal about it.
I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the details about it. I did see that happened. I mean, he's not going to be available to play for probably the first half of the season. He's a 30-something-year-old dude coming off another horrific knee injury, not his first.
$43 million player option to then expect to sign a 3-year, $119 million contract. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it's almost a wash in terms of the money. And yeah, it's one of those things of like, okay, you can either sign this contract and give yourself a 3-year security, or you play on this $43 million, which is, again, life-changing money. You should be able to retire with $43 million. But if you come back and you're not the same player, and let's say you get a career-ending injury after that, you're not getting another contract. So you're done at that. So it's a smart move just for security purposes for his future. The Dallas Mavericks, I think they made a couple moves as well. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was, but they've made a couple moves as well. They're going for it. So good offseason so far, nothing too crazy, but everything as expected. Oh yeah, they had the number 1 pick, so they got Cooper Flagg. That's huge right there in itself. So the NBA offseason is, of course, surrounded and headlined with the Kevin Durant trade, but doesn't move the needle much for me. I'm not a huge Kevin Durant fan. I don't think of him as a team leader. I don't think of him as a game-changing player that turns teams into contenders. I think he's just a very good player. The Rockets were a very good team last year, but I mean, I think they lost to the fucking. Did they beat the Thunder or the Warriors? I'm sorry, or did they lose to the Warriors?
I think they lost to the Warriors.
I think they did too, and the Warriors weren't a good team, so I don't remember. Or no, I think they did beat them because I think that's the series that Curry got hurt. I think Curry got hurt in that series. They ended up losing. I don't remember. Either way, I'm not.
All the transactions right now that's taking place. There's a lot of them, but nothing really of substance, though.
Yeah, like the KD thing was big. Obviously, the Cavaliers moves were big just because of the show. Everything else is just little. Like it's one of those things where, and whatever. However, this makes me sound. It's going to be one of those things where during the season, I'll be watching a Cavs game and I'll go, oh fuck, when did they get him? And I'm going to go, I didn't know this team got that guy. So it's going to be one of those things. Nobody of substance moved. In my opinion.
No, I mean, nothing big. I'm looking through it right now. Nothing sticking out that we haven't already talked about, though.
Yeah, so
you're good.
We'll see what happens. There's a lot of season left to be played. Or off-season to happen, I should say. And then, with that said, now we can talk about a little bit of baseball.
Do we have to?
Yeah, I feel like it's fitting. This is funny because when I made the mention that we were going to be going on a month-long break, I got some comments from people, and I said, it's kind of a downtime in sports. And I was like, we're in the middle of the baseball season. Nothing really too crazy happens before the All-Star break. And then, obviously nothing with football, nothing, basketball is over because of the finals, but the Cavs were done. So I was like, nothing really important for me. And my cousin's husband, Zach, he commented and said something like, "What do you mean the Guardians are playing blah, blah, blah?" And I was half joking, and I said, "Well, by the time we come back, they're going to be 10 games out of first place anyway." I was wrong. 15. So they are 15.
They're horrible right now.
Yeah, they're just a bad offensive team. It's funny to me when baseball's a funny sport. Do I think your manager matters? Yes. Do I think your manager gives you more than like maybe 5 wins a season? No. So the fact that people are trying to basically shit on Stephen Vogt as if this is his fault is bananas to me.
I mean, Tito's on a 8-game losing streak right now too.
Yeah, with probably a better roster, let's be honest, down there in Cincinnati. I don't blame Stephen Vogt one bit. I'm blaming the front office. This is just Cleveland, and that's what I try to tell Cleveland Brown or Guardians fans. This is who the Guardians are. Look at their history. They will go on a 5 to 8 year run of being very good, making the playoffs, maybe even going far in the playoffs, and then they have to take a couple years off because they have to rebuild. Unfortunately, we've been pretty fucking good since like 2015. We had a World Series appearance. We've had multiple playoff appearances since then. We've had ALCS appearances. Now it's probably time for that rebuild. Unfortunately, we've hit that peak. That's what happens with this Cleveland Guardians organization, Cleveland Indians, whatever you want to call it. But that's just who they are.
Well, it doesn't help, and I know we're going to get into it, but I was just reading 2 articles today when I was on lunch about the fact that we're just holding people down in our farm system. I know we're going to get into it, but it's just so annoying. They have such talent. I think we have 5 of the top 25 prospects, and they're just sitting in AAA or AA or whatever.
Well, I was listening to a guy actually this morning on 92.3 The Fan. I forgot his name. He hosts a Guardians podcast. He was on with Ken Carman and Anthony Lima today. And again, I apologize. I forgot his name. It might have been Justin something. I forgot. But he hosts a Guardians podcast. He knows all the minor league systems, all the players, blah, blah, blah. He brought up some good points. A, the reason they're not calling anybody up is to manipulate their major league time.
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's what they're doing. And I know fans don't want to hear this. Put yourself in the front offices or in their shoes. Do you think this team, even with Chase DeLauter on the roster, do you think if they brought up Chase DeLauter, we become a championship contender?
Yes, of course. World Series, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason they're not doing it is because they're not going to waste Chase DeLauter's professional experience when we suck. They'd rather call him up for a full season next year so he can come up and play. They'll call him up as soon as the time frame starts. I think it's like end of August or something like that. They'll call all these guys up. Don't get me wrong. It's going to happen eventually. But they'll get them up here for next season because it's going to be like the situation where we had Stephen Kwan starting in left field. I'll never forget that. The season was starting. I couldn't remember the guy's name. That's how little I knew about this guy. I'm like, yeah, we got some fucking Stephen Kwan guy, whatever, in left field. And now he's a 2-time All-Star, and he's one of the best hitters in baseball. He's a great, Gold Glove winner. So you kind of got to trust what they're doing. They're not going to waste these guys' major league professional time just to suck. Because then if, God forbid, if Chase DeLauter turns into the next, with no injury, Grady Sizemore that you hope he turns into, do you want then to go, because we're the Guardians, we're not going to re-sign him to a huge contract, so do you want that 1 year earlier of having to get rid of him? Or would you rather his prime come in 5 years opposed to in 4 years when maybe we're really good in 5 years? Maybe in year 4, we're not that good, but we called him up now where we suck. We're going to suck again next year, and then we start to get a little bit better, and he's nearing the end of his contract, and we're not going to be able to re-sign him because he's really good. I'd rather stretch his career in Cleveland out as long as possible, and calling him up right now to a lost season doesn't help anything. It really doesn't help anything. All it does is make us more than likely we're going to lose him sooner.
These guys that we bring up are absolutely going to help our team, but you're right. I mean, bringing them up now it seems like a waste because it's not going to be enough to win.
We're not winning a championship this year. Let's be honest.
No, but I think getting them up towards the end of the year will absolutely help and prep them for next year. I agree. Right?
And they will. You got to get them. Yeah, that's what the guy said today on the radio show. He brought up really good points. He basically said that the Guardians are kind of fucked just based on their roster. Having Chase DeLauter up here doesn't make sense right now because you can't give him the at-bats that he needs the way we set up our team. You're not going to bench guys just to get him some at-bats. So he doesn't have a position where you can have him up here getting regular at-bats. Say what you will, Nolan Jones has been okay. They're not going to bench Nolan Jones for Chase Slaughter. And then, we do that weird shit where we're like, okay, we have a righty pitching tonight, so here's the lineup. We have a lefty pitching against us tonight. Here's this lineup. We're always doing that weird shit. So DeLauder's not going to get the consistency that he needs up here. The other thing the guy brought up, which is also a very valid point, the average fastball in AAA is 94 miles an hour. Major League Baseball, the average fastball is like 98 to 100 miles an hour. It's very different. It may not sound like a lot when you think about it, but with a baseball, that's a lot. So the talent he's facing down in AAA is not as good as the pros. And that's just his way of basically saying, which I agree with, most rookies, when they come to the big leagues, struggle. It's rare that a rookie comes up and hits well because there's a huge adjustment curve for a batter. So with that being said, do I think Chase Slaughter is going to come up here, set the world on fire, and make us a championship team? No. So I'd rather make sure we can have the guy on our team as long as possible. And by not bringing him up yet, that's exactly what they're doing. Same with some of the younger infielders. We're doing this weird platoon thing, and that's what the guy was saying today. He said you have David Fry and Chase Slaughter. David Fry can't play in the field, so he can only DH. So are you going to then not play David Fry for Chase Slaughter to get at bats? Because then you're going to have Manzardo back up soon, who you're trying to get at bats for. You just have all these guys you're trying to get at bats for, and it's not working the way our team is structured. So we're just in a weird situation. We suck. And again, I think that's the main reason why no one's being called up, because these guys are not going to come up here and fix anything. Usually if you're a contender, you make a trade at the deadline for a proven player, and that's what helps your team win. You don't see teams make a call-up halfway through the season and then go on to win the World Series. That's very rare that a call-up from AAA is the deciding factor in your team and turn your season around, unless it's like Paul Skeens. If you call up a great pitcher who's pitching once every 5 days and who can be dominant, it just doesn't happen. So I don't think any of these young kids are going to come up here and turn the season around, and that's why they don't think so either. It sucks to hear that. It does infuriate me when you think about the reason we're in this situation, in my opinion, is we did trade away a 30 home run, 100 RBI guy in Josh Naylor for a team that got shut out like 6 out of 10 games or whatever the fuck it was over the last week or 2 weeks. A 30 home run, 100 RBI guy helps. We've also gone from being one of the best defensive teams. Huh?
How's he doing this year?
He's doing pretty good. He's not bad. He's not killing it. He missed some time. He had some injuries, but he's having a decent season.
Looking it up now. Let's see.
Getting live stats from Kyle.
Live stats. He's hitting the 296. He's got 93 hits. I don't get the home runs here, but it's pretty good. 296. So.
Yeah, again, he missed some time, so that's why his numbers aren't his at bats aren't there. But yeah, Josh Naylor's playing fine, and then we have Carlos Santana, who is playing okay, who is also more than likely going to be traded at the trade deadline because he only had a 1-year contract. We suck. There are teams that need a first baseman, so there's a hot rumor that we're going to trade Carlos Santana. What are we going to trade him for? A bunch of guys you've never heard of, because that's what the Guardians do. We're going to trade him for, there we go. 296, 11 home runs, 58 RBI, 44 runs for Naylor. You mean to tell me you wouldn't take 58 RBI on your team right now?
Hey, Moneyball, baby. You go for those runs, you go for those hits. That's what you buy. Right?
George, while you're there, could you do me a favor and look up the top 3 RBI players on the Guardians right now? Who have the top 3 RBIs? And also, 296 is ungodly. Or is godlike, I should say, for the Guardians. That's how bad some of we have a bunch of guys batting like fucking 100.
No, he only has 83 games played right now. So
yeah, which I think each team, give or take, has like 100 games. So like I said, he's missed a little bit of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing crazy, but again, 58 RBI on a team that can't score would be pretty tremendous.
Every day, right? I still take those hits. It's fine.
He looks miserable too in Arizona.
Oh, I would be too. Fuck that. It's 120 down there on average during.
He had like a game-winning home run. This was like a month ago or whatever, and they showed the clip of him, like his teammates dumping shit on him and everything, and he just looked emotionless. Like he just seems like a downtrodden dude. Andres Jimenez is still a great defensive second baseman. Offensively, he still stinks, but he's still killing it defensively. The Guardians last year were one of the best defensive teams in baseball. This year, they're one of the worst. They've committed more errors than like I can ever remember a team committing, a Cleveland team committing. And, a platinum glove second baseman might help. Just saying.
Agree.
So we'll wait for George to get those stats for us because I'm just curious to see where Naylor would rank on the Guardians right now in terms of RBI. While we're talking about the Guardians, the All-Star game is next Tuesday. And breaking news right before the show started, if those of you that didn't see it, Jose Ramirez has opted out. He said he is going to focus on the second half of the season and his recovery. In my opinion, there were some rumors that he did some interviews and told people that he just doesn't feel like he deserves to be an all-star because we suck. Do I believe that? A little bit. I also think that he is just kind of looking at it as we do suck. So do I want to go to the all-star game for nothing, or do I want to basically have a week off where I can just relax? I think he just would rather relax. And I don't blame him. The all-star game is meaningless. Means absolutely nothing. Once they took away the home field advantage thing that they used to have, which I thought was fucking awesome. It was competitive. People cared. Guys were dying. Like, people tried. Now, I personally, over the last 10 years when they took that away, I hardly watch the All-Star game. Honest to God. I don't care. It's a meaningless game now. It's like the NBA All-Star game.
I can be honest. I've not watched the last 2 years of the game. I've watched Home Run Derby. I've watched the softball thing they do the day before.
Yeah, the celebrity softball game is usually right around the home run derby. I think Sunday night they do the.
I don't watch the game because it's pointless to me. It's so stupid.
I would only occasionally, if I was bored, there were, honest to God, I swear on my life, there were years where I forgot that the All-Star game was on. I'd be at home watching TV and I'm going through the channels and I'm like, oh shit, the All-Star game.
It's always on a Sunday, right? And it's
no, it's a Tuesday.
Oh, is it a Tuesday? Oh, really? I thought it was on a Sunday.
No, they do the home run derby on Monday night. The All-Star game is Tuesday night. Then they're off Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never watch it. It's not appealing to me to watch it anymore. So
yeah, no, it sucks. Yeah, Devin, I agree. I'm cool with Jose not going. It makes sense. That's if I happen to be paying attention, on my phone, if I see okay, Stephen Kwan got substituted in for whomever, I go, okay, he's about to bat, so I'll watch him get one at bat, and that's it. Then I'll turn the game back off. Jose Ramirez has 44 RBI, Santana 38, Manzardo 33. So Josh Naylor would be leading the Guardians in RBI by 14 RBI if he were on this team.
That's also assuming that the players in front of him get on base, which that is questionable right now too.
Right, but I'm just, even if you take a handful of those RBI away, he'd still be probably the leader on the team. That's something the Guardians could use. Do I understand the move? Yes, because he is due for a new contract, and the Guardians do not pay guys, and he's due for a pretty decent contract based on the last few years he's had in his career. But yeah, so that's funny to me. If you do the math, if you put those all together, the Guardians' first basemen collectively have 71 RBI. Josh Naylor by himself has 58. I think we could use him.
Back to the All-Star conversation. Is there any All-Star game you actually watch? Because I barely watch the NBA one because to me, again, it's just offense, right? It's not really that fun. I don't watch the MLB. I don't watch the NFL, whatever you want to call it, that they do nowadays, right? And I don't know. I clearly don't watch NHL. I mean, the All-Star games nowadays are just not what they used to be.
No, I will say I probably watch the NBA All-Star game the most, but it's not like I'm actually caring. It's more so just I'm bored, and it's just because the NBA All-Star game is a Sunday night. So usually it's a Sunday night in February. There's nothing else on TV.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'll throw that one on. Major League Baseball or the Baseball All-Star game, again, I throw it on every once in a while. I'll flip it on, watch a few innings, or I basically just want to watch the Cleveland guys play. So last year when I watched it, I watched Jose play. I was watching Kwan. I'm watching Emmanuel Clase, but I don't watch the whole thing. Just because, again, I don't. Back in the day when it meant something, goddamn, I watched every minute. I remember when there were games where we were in extra innings and they're running out of fucking pitchers to use, and it was just so much fun. It was such a good game. I flipped through it, but I'm not locked in.
I feel like the skill challenge parts of every All-Star weekend are far better to watch than anything else.
I mean, from my perspective, the best all-star event in all three sports is the home run derby. I love the home run derby. It's so fucking fun. I get excited for that. I cannot wait for Monday night to watch that. The NBA skills challenge is kind of fun, but it's lost its luster. Like you had last year in the team challenge thing, whatever the fuck it's called, the skills challenge.
Thing ever now.
You had Chris Paul trying to cheat the system, and it's like, okay, this is stupid. Like, these guys don't care. You have the dunk contest has been garbage for the last, 15 years, pretty much. And then you have a three-point contest, which is usually fun, but at the same time, there's always, a handful of dudes that don't belong there, and it's like, it's not as fun as it used to be.
So I would go home run derby. I would go three-point contest. I would go probably skills challenge. And then, honestly, the NHL one, which I've seen highlights of, where they do their skill challenge, is quite interesting, too.
Yeah, no, that's fun, too. That's another one where I never know when it's on, when it's happening, because I don't follow hockey. So I go on Twitter, and someone's like, oh, fuck, this NHL thing's great. And then I'm like, oh, that's on tonight. I'm with you, Devin. The MLB is fun, and it also is nostalgic, because I remember watching it when I was a kid a lot, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. But again, that was back when it mattered, when they made it mean something. So I still watch it. And at the end of the day, too, in middle of July on a Tuesday night, there's nothing else on. So I'll throw on some baseball, the All-Star Game for a little bit if there's, I can't find anything else. Speaking of the home run derby, though, George, if you could do me a favor, if you could list, I agree with Kyle's ranking, too. For me, again, home run derby is number one by a mile. George, if you could list off the participants in the home run derby. I looked it up earlier, and I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, so I want to make sure we don't miss anything. We're going to go through them, and then Kyle and I are going to pick who we think is going to win and try to get the list that's incomplete. Okay. I wonder who left. I don't think Jose was in it.
Well,
I saw Cal Raleigh. I think I saw James Wood.
There was Ron Acuna, Cal Riley, James Woods, Brian Buxton, O'Neal Cruz, and Junior Camerno. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the ones that are confirmed so far. And I can break them down by right now. As of right now, what they have, Acuna only has 9 home runs because I think he's only played half a year so far.
Yeah, he was injured for most of the season.
Cal Riley has 35, leads the MLB. James Wood 23, Byron Buxton 20, O'Neal Cruz 15. And Junior has 21 home runs right now. So,
well, as of right now, that's the only list that we have. I already know my pick, and it's not just because he's leading all of these guys in home runs. I think this dude just fucking mashes.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah,
I am picking the big dumper. I am picking Cal Raleigh. He's got the coolest nickname, literally just because he has a giant ass. He is nicknamed the big dumper, and I think he just fucking rakes. I love watching him bat. So I am pulling for Cal Raleigh. He's my pick to win the Derby.
Acuna is probably my underdog because I mean he can hit the ball, he can mash the ball. I could see him going into the finals, but no, I agree with you.
See, my underdog pick is James Wood, just because he's kind of unknown because he's on the Nationals.
Yeah, actor James Wood, great.
He's a really good home run hitter. I could see him being a guy who wins, and everyone's kind of like, "Holy fuck!" Because no one knows who he is for the most part, unless you're like a big, a diehard baseball guy. He's not a household name. 6 other guys passed on batting in it, so it's going to be interesting who they will try to find their roster. That makes me think that that's why Jose Ramirez backed out. I don't think he wanted to do the Derby again because I think he did it last year, and it kind of fucked his swing up for the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna throw people in there. Probably, I wouldn't doubt if they throw in who do they normally throw in there? Kyle, what's his face from wherever he's playing.
Schwarber, yeah, you maybe get a Philly. Pete Alonso, I'm kind of shocked isn't in it. Like there's no Mets in it. They're guys I could see.
You should do 6, is it 8 guys, right? 8 guys that do it? Is it total 8 guys?
Oh, Pete Alonso officially said no. Yeah, I don't remember. I think it's 8.
Yeah, so I think they should do 6 of the elite, whatever, the younger dudes, and then bring back 2 vets, older vets, just to throw a mix in there, just to see what happens.
I think it'd be cool if they take 6 young dudes, maybe AAA players who are good home run hitters, let them do it. I think that'd be fun to watch.
Absolutely. You know what?
Let him go up against some pros.
Let's bring back Bonds. Let's see what he has left in the tank. Just see.
He could probably he'll still crush him, I bet.
He could probably get enough over the fence to be a little scary. So.
And if they invited him today, he's got a little under a week to get some roids in his system. He'll be fine. He'll be good. Yeah, so I mean, again, even if they get a couple more people added onto it, I'm taking Cal Raleigh. I think Cal Raleigh is the best home run hitter in this group. And again, he's just so fun to watch. And they're going to say big dumper 100 times, and I love that. They need 2 more. They had 8 last year. Yeah, so off the top of my head, yeah, I would probably think like you're going to get a Schwarber. Maybe I could see Soto saying no. He doesn't seem like he's having fun this year. Maybe Tyler Soderstrom or Brent Roker from the Athletics would be good picks. Some under the radar guys who hit the ball really well. Nathaniel Lowe from the Rays would be a good pick. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head here of dudes that I know who hit pretty good home runs. Kind of shocked there's nobody from the Dodgers. You get Teoscar Hernandez, and I'm not even just talking about.
Ohtani said no because he said something about the rules. He doesn't want to get into it this year.
I don't know. I didn't see that. I'm okay with Ohtani not doing it. I feel like
I just read an article that said he said no to it. He was asked, but he said no to it, and I think Mookie also said no to it as well.
Yeah, the bigger names saying no, I could see that, but I'm talking like a guy like Teoscar Hernandez. Like he's a good home run hitter. He's a guy who could do it, and I think would be entertaining to watch. So something to keep an eye on. We'll see who's going to end up joining.
Put big Christmas in it because I think he's someone who can just load up and just hit home runs.
Yeah, Jackenzie Noel would be a dude who, if you threw him in there and you just played his highlight reel of home runs from the playoffs last year, people will be like, "Okay, I get it."
Yeah,
I think I think he's still in the minors, so I don't think he qualifies.
High fastballs all day, he can crush those out of there. Why not?
If he weren't away, I would love to see Manzardo do it. I think Manzardo would be a good person to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think he had a family member have like open heart surgery or something like that. He had a medical emergency in his family, so he's been away from the team. But we'll see who they get. 2 more people. Again, no matter who they get, unless it's Aaron Judge, there's a good chance I'm sticking with. Okay, Judge officially said no. Perfect. Then I am going with Cal Raleigh. Didn't he get called up last night? Noel. Yeah, I think actually. Yeah, did he get called up for? Was it Lane Thomas? I don't remember who it was. Guardians have been making a bunch of transactions and moves up and down. Yeah, Gabe Arias got hurt, so they had to call back up Rocchio. Then Manzardo's on the family medical list, so he's gone. You have Luis Ortiz, who we didn't even get to talk about Luis Ortiz yet. We'll definitely talk about that here in a minute. He's off, so we had to call somebody up for that. Lane Thomas is on the 10-day DL, so he's off. Yeah, so the Guardians have been making a bunch of weird moves every day or so. And Luis Ortiz, let's talk about that. Can't believe I didn't even make a note of that for the Guardians. I completely forgot about him. Unusual betting on first pitch bets and on balls, and unusually horrible pitches from a Major League Baseball pitcher. Kind of a strange coincidence for Major League Baseball. So he is on the whatever administrative leave list. He's getting paid while he's away, but they are investigating him for
he's absolutely guilty.
His likely betting on his own pitches, which I'd never even thought of that a pitcher could bet on himself to throw a ball in a specific inning and go out there and do that. Genius if you don't get caught. If you miss the plate by a little bit, and like enough to where the guy's not going to swing because he's got a good enough eye, but you're not throwing it in the other batter's box, which is what Ortiz did, you might be able to get away with it.
When he struck that one dude out and said "fuck" afterwards, you could then right there you're like, okay, well.
So that one I'm gonna say is a non-story. In my opinion, I think that was more so he missed his target, because if you watch where the catcher was lined up, It was not where it was supposed to go. It worked, but I think he yelled at himself because of that. That's the only thing I can think of, because I feel like if he had a bet where he wanted to, the only thing I can think of.
Put a story out there that because that was a game that he had a certain strike limit, and that pitch put him over the under.
Oh, maybe. But I also feel like, though, that if he really wanted to, he could throw a junk ball at that point instead of striking. He threw that ball down the middle. So that's where you're kind of playing with fire of like, if you don't want a guy to get a hit, make sure he doesn't swing at it. Or if you don't want him to strike out, I should say. Yeah. Throw a pitch where he's not even going to be attempted to swing at it. So my thought was, which that very well could be the case. I'll wait till this comes out. But I'm just going off from where the catcher was lined up. That pitch was just way off target.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny.
Because I also feel like he wouldn't be stupid enough to yell that and make himself that under the microscope.
I also don't know how much he put on the bet, man. He could have been like
that is true. That could have been like his half of his yearly salary on one bet, and he fucked it up. I don't know. It's bad. He'll never pitch again. I mean, he's going to be he's busted for sure. He's going to be an example by Major League Baseball, and he is probably going to get the Pete Rose treatment. He's done.
These guys ever just fucking care? I mean, ever just learn, not care? But do you think just learn? I mean, come on, guys. You're going to get caught by somebody eventually, right? Well, Ohtani didn't get caught. He got off, but it's okay.
Ohtani got caught, but Ohtani's really fucking good in Major League Baseball. Basically, they gave him the lesser Jordan treatment, where Jordan got the quiet suspension for 1 year. Baseball's like, you know what? Our sport's kind of dying. We can't lose Ohtani, so blame your interpreter.
We're gonna blame your interpreter and throw him under the bus, and he can't tell us any differently. So he's done, and you're fine. So it's okay.
Yeah, we're gonna make a backdoor deal with Shohei Ohtani that your interpreter's gonna take the fall, and you're good. Don't do it again, but you're fine. And now when you're Luis Ortiz, who's an average ass pitcher, that's when they go, "You're fucked, buddy. You're done. We're throwing the book at you." He should just blame his interpreter, because I bet Luis Ortiz, I've never heard him talk. I'm guessing he speaks Spanish. So I would just say your interpreter was making the bets.
Whoa, assumptions here. Just because he has a last name of Ortiz doesn't mean he speaks Spanish, man.
I said assumption. I said I'm making the assumption that he speaks Spanish. He could be bilingual. Even if you're bilingual, just say you still have an interpreter.
Okay, touche. I'll let it go.
I think it works. If it worked for Ohtani, why isn't he using that excuse? Be like, no, my interpreter stole my money. And
I want to believe in a world that Ohtani speaks perfect English. He just chooses not to because he hates talking to people.
He's so talented. I guarantee he probably watched a couple movies on his flight over to America and learned the English language just on that flight. He seems like he's just that special of a person.
He watched Coming to America as soon as all the Eddie Murphy.
He watched Coming to America and Rush Hour back to back on the flight over from Japan.
My other one was going to be.
And then he just, as soon as he got there, he got off the plane. They're like, "Oh, Mr. Ohtani, welcome to Anaheim." And he's like, "Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?" And they're like, "Oh, this guy's ready. He is fucking ready." In a perfect Chris Tucker accent too. He sounded just like him.
That's
so. Yeah, Luis Ortiz is fucked, and that's not good for the Guardians. And again, it's just more salt on the wound of this season because he was their big offseason acquisition. We traded. He was part of a trade where we got rid of. This was part of the Jimenez trade. So we traded Andres Jimenez. We got the guy from Toronto, and then we traded that guy from Toronto right to Pittsburgh for Luis Ortiz. So we gave up Andres Jimenez for Luis Ortiz, only for Ortiz to be an average pitcher for half a season, and he's more than likely done in Major League Baseball. And Andres Jimenez is in Toronto, still playing platinum defense, still sucks at the plate, but at least he's playing, and he's probably not going to be suspended this year. So not a good trade by the Guardians. However, it saved them money, and that's all they fucking care about.
That's all that matters.
And I didn't want to admit it, but I can't remember. I'd have to go back and rewatch the show because honestly, I don't remember if I did it on here or if I did it in my group text. But I know for sure I am on the record of telling somebody, again, I don't remember if it was you on here or my buddies in my group text, where I said I picked the Guardians to come in fourth place in the division. I was like, they gutted the roster. They are in it to lose this year. With no Bieber.
Their early season projections or predictions this year. So I think you did it on here.
I think I did too. I don't remember. I can't remember if I was being like a fan on the show here and was like kind of like, oh, the Guardians are going to go to the World Series again. But I was honest with somebody where I know I have it on record somewhere, whether it's on here or it's in my text. But I told everybody, I was like, I think they're going to be a fourth place team. They're going to be lucky to be ahead of the Royals or the Twins, depending on how their seasons go. But it's Detroit's division to lose. Guardians just don't have the talent. And sure enough, that's exactly where they're at right now.
Where do we get this little chat box in the corner? I'm just looking at this now.
I think that was one of the new upgrades George talked about right before we went on our hiatus for the month of June. He said that they now have a chat box thing. I do like that.
We take a month off. I can make the screen full screen now. Don't have to worry about looking at anything else. All right.
Oh, true. I never even thought of that. I could do that too. Let's do that.
I like it. Like boom.
Hell yeah. Whoa. I'm not used to this. So yeah, the Guardians are doing exactly kind of what I expected them to do. My big worry is that Shane Bieber's going to come back this year and like re-injure himself and just like ruin his career. And I don't think he'll be.
Forgot about Shane Bieber. So
He's still rehabbing. He's still rehabbing. He'll be back soon. But too little, too late at this point. I mean, I'll give him credit. Our starting pitching has been fucking fantastic, truthfully, for a while. Our bullpen's not good this year, and that happens. Bullpens are so hard to maintain from a year-to-year basis. It's ridiculous if you go back and look. If you go back and look at like the last like 20 years of closers, aside from like, you know, the greats like Mariano Rivera or whatever, if you look at a dominant closer or relief pitcher, they maybe have like 2 good years and they get found out pretty fucking quickly. If you remember back in the day even with the Guardians we had, or Indians at the time, Vinny Pistano was great. James Karinchak was fucking great for a year. These guys get figured out so quick. So there's, you know, obviously Clase's had a really bad year. And then Cade Smith, who was lights out last year.
He's had some okay games this year, though. Clase.
Yeah, no, Clase's fine. He's just not the guy he was last year, it's hard to duplicate that. He was he was a legitimate Cy Young candidate for a closer last year. He was that good. Hard to keep that up. And I'm not knocking him, but that's just how baseball works. Your bullpen does not work the same way. I mean, Cade Smith came in the other day. Well, Clase came in a one-run game against the Tigers where we should have won. And then Bo Naylor blew a fucking ball in the dirt, and Bo Naylor has since not caught for Emmanuel Clase twice since then. And because he's defensively, he's kind of a liability at times. And then Cade Smith came in the tied game in the top of the 10th inning and proceeded to give up like 3 home runs in 1 inning, and we ended up losing the game like 7-2 or whatever the fuck. So horrible day, I should say, for 2 of our best relief pitchers, but that's just the way she goes sometimes. Our bullpen stinks. Our starting rotation's okay, but there's really not even a true ace. I mean, Tanner Bybee's pitched well at times, but at the same time, Tanner Bybee has struggled. We're hoping Shane Bieber can come back and be a shell of himself. And offensively, it's been atrocious. Our offense is garbage. You have Steven Kwan, you have Jose Ramirez, and then you have the field. We have multiple people in our starting lineup who are batting under like 150. It's just ugly. It's terrible. But unfortunately, again, going into the offseason, didn't think this was a championship contending team. And obviously the Guardians don't either. And that's why they're not making any moves. If anything, we're going to be trading people away. So more than likely, say goodbye to Carlos Santana. I would say there's a few relief pitchers who, if they pitch pretty decently over the next couple of weeks, will be gone. Paul Sewald, I could see getting traded. I could see, what's his name? Junis getting traded. This was all, again, this guy from the Guardians podcast I listened to today. He brought all these names up too. And he's like, these are guys that I wouldn't doubt get traded for prospects. We're going to trade them for single A guys that you never heard of and hope for the best.
So we can keep building that farm system, buddy.
That's what we do. And unfortunately, you know, as much as guys don't want to hear it, we'll trade Jacob Junis. Yeah, it's Jacob. We'll trade Jacob Junis in a couple of weeks for a dude who no one's ever heard of. And then in about 4 years, there's going to be a guy that comes up to Cleveland and you're like, holy shit, where'd this guy come from? And you look it up, you go, oh my God, we got him for Jacob Junis in 2025. So that's usually how this shit works. So if there's any team that I trust to make a move, it's the Guardians. It's just they don't make moves for today. They make a move for tomorrow. And I'm used to it. So I don't understand the outrage from Guardians fans about how bad they are and how this is ridiculous and the Dolans are, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is just who they are as a team. And it happens every 10 years or so. We're doing a reset. We're
just prepping ourselves for the Brown season, right? I mean, we know it's coming in a couple months here, so it's okay. It's whatever.
Can't come soon enough. I can't wait for the football season to start.
I mean, I can't either, but I can because I know it's not going to be fun. But
no, the Browns are going to be terrible. But I'm used to that. I just want the rest of the season to happen. I want fantasy football. I want betting. I want all the fun shit.
Right. So yeah, I agree with you. I want football season to be here, but as a Cleveland fan, I really don't give a shit right now.
No, but I mean, it's again, we've been bad for so long. I'm used to it. I'm going to get kind of excited for the season to start. I'm going to have a little bit of hope, and then it's all going to be ripped out from me, and then it'll be normal.
Speaking of which, you told me, are we going back to doing a cornhole thing again this year?
We are. I was telling people on Saturday, leave the 30th open of August, and then I went, fuck, that's Kyle's Beer Olympics day. So now I have to make some adjustments to my schedule.
I'm sorry.
I was looking at it and I was like, hey, that's perfect. Like the 30th will work. I got, it's 2 weeks before the season starts. So we're not doing it the day before the opener, the season opener. So I was like, perfect. And then the next day I'm looking at my calendar and I look at Tara and I'm like, shit, that's Kyle's party. I didn't even think about it. So yeah, I got to pick a new date. But yeah, I'm doing a cornhole party this year for sure. I got to figure out a date.
Painting it a little bit because I don't want to miss that because I love coming over and doing that.
More than likely going to be on the 6th then of September. It's what it's looking like. So just keep that date open. Pencil that one in.
Penciling it in right now. Perfect.
So yeah, we're definitely going to be doing it. I'm looking forward to that for sure. After hosting our party on Saturday with all those people, I was like, this, as long as, obviously weather pending, if the weather's great, we'll have no problem hosting everybody. Everyone parked in the grass. Literally not one car parked in my driveway, and they all fit because that's how much yard we had. So we had cornhole boards set up down by the creek. We had tables. We had gazebo tents. Kids were jumping on the trampoline, on the swing set. Like I said, we had inflatable pools set up. Tara's dad wanted to set up a slip and slide, but I told him no because I was like, I don't feel like running the hose.
Sounds like adult people getting injured with that, especially with your hills down there.
There were a bunch of kids.
Oh, okay.
It was fun though. Yeah, people sitting on the patio, people sitting on the deck. We had plenty of room for everybody. It was a good time. So with that being said, we were talking about the cornhole tournament. The cornhole tournament happens every year at my house for the Browns. Let's talk a little bit about them. They have been in the news a touch. First things first, we are saying goodbye to Obo Okrowonkro. I came close to spelling it right in the group chat today, George. I did that. I think I was sitting on the toilet when you sent that, and I didn't even Google it right off the top of my head. I know his name. I just had no fucking idea how to spell it accurately, and I think I came close. I might have missed a letter or two, but whatever. So Obo Okoronkwo was released by the Cleveland Browns after 2 years in Cleveland. We signed him from the Houston Texans a couple of years ago as a free agent to be opposite of Myles Garrett. He was a little undersized, but he was very quick off the snap. Cap casualty. This was kind of an expected move. The Browns do have some young talent. They signed Joe Tryon in the offseason. They do have Alex Wright. They have, Isaiah McGuire. I forgot his name. But they have some young talent that they want to develop on their own. And unfortunately, Obo, cap casualty. He's gone. Good, best of luck to him in his future endeavors. But he was here in Cleveland. He was fun. Looked like he was a good teammate. Everybody liked him. But nature of the beast, part of the business, had to let him go. Other big moves in the NFL, though, however, found out Shedeur Sanders has a lead foot. He's gotten a few speeding tickets since he's become a professional athlete in Northeast Ohio for going 100 plus miles an hour multiple times. Not a good look when you're a 5th round pick trying to make an NFL team. Just my opinion.
Fastest he's ever gone, though.
Yeah, he's not known for speed, so that's good for him that he was actually able to find it here in Cleveland. Hopefully it translates to the field. I also got into a little bit of an argument with a guy on social media. This is an off-topic thing about Deshaun Watson, and had nothing to do with football. So Deshaun Watson made a post on Threads the other day. I happened to be on Threads and didn't know we got an F1 racer with that 5th round pick. Hey, he was only going 100, George. Let's not get carried away with an F1 racer. Deshaun Watson got married a couple weeks ago or whatever, and he made a post on social media and he said something like, I'm finna get married tomorrow. Finna. I know that's a big word for people. I don't get it. I'm a huge fan of the English language, so I just accept, or I just enjoy.
I've used the word finna before.
I've used it sarcastically, but I've never used it seriously. So to use it in your wedding post, I thought was bold. So I commented on it, and all I said was, probably wouldn't have said finna in my wedding post, but that's just me. That's all I said. Does that sound like bullying or anything like mean or anything like that to you?
Did you get blocked or something? Or did you get a...
No, not from Watson. Actually, I don't know. He might have blocked me. I didn't even go back and check. Some random fucking guy just starts going off on me about how I forgot. It was a stupid, like cliche thing of like, that's like an eagle asking a frog how to fly or something like that. Like, because I'm like, how the fuck do those things correlate? I'm like, am I the eagle then in this scenario because I know how to use the English language? I was like, I don't really understand your reference here. And then he just went back and forth about how I'm a bully and how I'm on the internet just spreading hate and blah, 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 and this and that. And I just finally was like, dude, you're a fucking loser. I'm like, you're on here defending Deshaun Watson, a guy who you'll never meet, because I just said I wouldn't have used a word in a post. He's like, studies show that people that correct grammar on social media are this and that. And I just said, studies show you're a fucking loser. Like, I just went off on the guy. Like, he was just such an idiot.
Times are wild right now, man. There's so much interesting stuff going on in the world. It's insane. Like, it's just
it's not good. It's truly the movie Idiocracy, where like every day you're like, oh, what now? And like, oh god, everything's just dumber and dumber, and the people are getting dumber around me.
Spot, put the circle into the circle spot. Congratulations, you're president of the United States.
That's truthfully what it's going to come to. Like, we just need a total reform with everything in the world, or in our country, I should say. Our current system is garbage. It's you have these old dinosaurs that are still in fucking office because there's no age or term limits on things. It's bad. We need a full reform, but unfortunately, it's never going to happen because there's money flowing, and it's way above us as citizens of things we can ever actually make a difference with. I've come to learn that, unfortunately. It's a sad truth.
It's what it is. I just go to work every day, pay my taxes, go home, pay my bills, and that's pretty much what I do. So
that's it. Yeah, once the news of this week where the Epstein list went missing faster than TJ Watt in a playoff game, that's when I went, okay, it's I've always thought it was pretty shady, and I didn't believe the don't get me wrong, there are some wild conspiracy theories out there that I do not believe in, but with this one, yeah, there are probably some high figures that are shutting things down because that are bigger than our government, and that's where I kind of went, we're so minuscule in life, just us normal average Joes.
To Pittsburgh Steelers talk, by the way.
Yeah, I figured what better to talk about than, the Epstein list goes missing, TJ Watt goes missing in the playoffs, he's missing from training camp because he wants a new schedule or a new contract, but they are making moves one way or the other. Yes, they did trade. Right, but they traded George Pickett. George Pickett. They traded him George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys a couple of weeks ago. I think we already talked about that on the show, though. Obviously, they acquired DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. They officially signed Aaron Rodgers, and then they made another trade. They traded Minkah Fitzpatrick, and a 5th-round draft pick, there it is, to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 7th-round pick in 2027. Now, on paper, you look at that and go, holy shit, they're loaded. In my opinion, and well, not even an opinion, I hand to God, I forgot Jalen Ramsey was still in the NFL. So,
and I just read something the other day that said Jonnu did not want to go to the Steelers.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. He was pretty pissed when his name got tossed around in trade rumors. He wanted to stay in Miami. Then some trades fell through, and he was kind of like, well, I kind of don't want to be here anymore now if you guys wanted to trade me. So they found a trade partner, and he's going to Pittsburgh. And Jalen Ramsey.
Not the same as in Miami. So
yeah, it's a little different up in this area. Hand to God, I swear, I really forgot Jalen Ramsey was still in the NFL. So that shows you how much of a non-factor he's kind of been.
Well, he was out for the year last year with an injury, I think.
Yeah, he's missed a lot of time over the last couple of years. Hasn't been as effective as he was. He had really good years in Jacksonville when he came into the league, and then he went to the Rams. I think he's on his 4th team now, I believe. Drafted by the Jaguars. Then he went to the Rams. Then he went to the Dolphins. Now he's in Pittsburgh. When a guy's bouncing around with that many teams, not a good sign. And in my opinion, I think Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's had a couple of down years statistically for his career. So, yes, he's probably on the decline, but he's still a huge part of their secondary. So losing one of the best safeties in the NFL, say what you will, there's a lot of people who think the safety position is a non-factor and kind of a dying position in the NFL, which I would agree with.
He hurt us a lot in games against him. He was good against us.
He was really good against us. He showed up in key moments. He's a good tackler. Caused a lot of turnovers. He ruined Nick Chubb's career. He's done a lot. And for them to trade him for Jalen Ramsey was puzzling in my opinion. So that's an interesting move because that's a big loss. But interesting trade, something to keep an eye on. It helps me. I bet on the Pittsburgh Steelers about 2 months ago. I threw money down for them to make the playoffs this year because A, they just always do with Mike Tomlin. And B, I was like, I think it was before the draft. I made this bet because it was like plus 400 or something like that. And I was like, I strongly believe they're signing Aaron Rodgers. And then they did. They trade for DK Metcalf. They trade for Jalen Ramsey. And I'm like, okay, I'm really happy with this fucking pick now of them making the playoffs. They've gotten much better. Do I think they're a championship contender? No. But I did see a post from somebody who, I forgot who it was, but I respect their opinion. And they said, it kind of seems like this is Mike Tomlin's swan song. He's going out with, fuck it, I'm getting a bunch of veterans in here. We're going to try to win a championship. If we don't, I'm out. That's why they got.
Did you see the photo of Aaron Rodgers the other day where it's like he looks like a retired dad who just picks up his kids every other weekend wearing the Steelers jersey for the team photo?
No, I didn't.
It looks bad. Like he looks old in the photo. And they were like, this guy's like a retired dad who goes to his son's football games and picks his kids up every other weekend, posing for a photo with the Steelers jersey on.
I mean, that sounds about right. I don't doubt that one bit.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think the Steelers are going to be a mess this year. I really do. I think halfway through the year, you're going to have Aaron Rodgers have his hissy fit like typical, right? I just don't think their defense is going to be as good, especially since you have the drama with TJ Watt right now. Who knows what's going to happen to him? I still think they trade him. I really do. And I just don't see the offense pulling it together. I mean, Pickens was a huge, yes, drama queen, but he was a good receiver when you threw the ball to him, right? I mean, he did come down with plays. I don't see it being very productive for him, even with Aaron Rodgers behind center. Even though
my concern there is Aaron Rodgers kind of proved that he's old. He could still sling it. He had a decent year last year with the Jets. Don't get me wrong. They sucked as a team, but overall his statistics, he wasn't that bad. However, he's a 40-year-old dude 2 years removed from a torn Achilles. The Steelers' offensive line is bad. It's not a good offensive line. Their run game is kind of weak now. They lost Najee Harris, who, speaking of Najee Harris, there is allegedly, I don't want to get sued, there are some rumors out there that I didn't even get a chance to send you yet because I just saw it at like an hour before the show started. Uh-oh. There's a rumor that he got hit in the eye with a firework over the weekend. And it hasn't been reported officially yet because, let me read you the little tea leaves here that I got.
Here we go.
So, let me find it. Here it is. So a guy made a post. Did anyone else hear the Najee Harris firework eye injury rumor? This is on Reddit. He said, for additional context, the rumors are surrounding this firework explosion that occurred on the 4th of July in Antioch. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Antioch. It's a city, I believe, in California. And the reason could be Najee Harris, this person explains, Najee is not only from there, he went to high school there. So that's his hometown. And they said, I really hope this is all bullshit, but I also found somebody else tried to make this post on the NFL's Reddit page, and it got deleted about the injury. And then the last little nugget of information is Jordan Schultz, who I'm not familiar with who he is off the top of my head, but he has a check mark. I think he's a reporter. Commented on a post from Najee Harris from about 6 weeks ago. Don't even know what the post is, but it's a 6-week-old post. He randomly just sent a heart emoji on it yesterday. So everyone's going, why would he randomly send a heart on a 6-week-old post unless something bad had happened? And the story that the guy, he linked the article of the injury and said that, yeah, it was San Francisco area. And it says that 4 were injured in a firework accident. 1 was like critically injured. And there's people that believe it was Najee Harris.
I'm looking at it right now too. That's crazy. Yeah, they're
pretty intense.
We're saying, why has Team Z not picked it up yet? Because I think they're probably still trying to confirm it because it just, a couple days ago, right? But still, that's crazy. Oh god.
Yeah, so definitely something. I mean, obviously he's not a Steeler anymore. He signed with the San Diego Chargers in the offseason, or LA Chargers. But still an interesting thing to keep an eye on. No pun intended, but he could have lost an eye. Allegedly, I don't know if it was him. I don't know how bad it is. I have no idea, but that would be really fucked up. But the reason I was getting to that was because of the current situation with the Steelers running backs game is it's not very good. They lost Najee Harris, who was consistent. He wasn't the greatest running back, but he'd give you 1,000 yards. He'd give you a bunch of touchdowns. He could catch the ball. Now they're going with Jalen Warren, who can't stay healthy. Yeah, he signed with them this offseason. So I was jokingly texting my one buddy who's doing a dynasty draft now. It's been going on for like 2 weeks. They've been doing a dynasty draft. And I joked and I said, "You didn't take Najee Harris, did you?" And he goes, "Nope, but I'm looking at who their third string running back is, though." And I laughed. I'm like, "That's a good idea." So yeah, a little funny nugget of information right there that came out that I thought was interesting.
I'll have to keep an eye on the news and see if it actually if it's reported.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see anybody confirm it because there's been a lot of people that have been asking because it's a hot rumor and no one's even responding. No reporter has responded with a no, it's not true. They're just ignoring it. So that makes me think that they're struggling to get confirmation. So that's something to think about.
Well, you think someone had to leak it. I mean, a nurse, a doctor, or something, or someone at the hospital at the time, because if it went to the hospital, I mean, someone had to known or seen it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Some people, they might not want to break HIPAA. It's more so maybe that's why they're hey, we think he's in there, but the hospital's not leaking any information yet.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm wondering, or maybe the NFL is burying the story because they want to wait and announce it on their own terms because they don't want another. That's a bad publicity for the NFL if one of their players lost an eye. In a firework accident. So I think that's something that the NFL could potentially be.
Do you need 2 eyes to run? I mean, yeah, just pirate narrative.
I mean, Trent Richardson ran like he only had one eye sometimes, so that's fitting. I don't think Najee will be that bad.
He ran like he had something down the middle, you couldn't see left or right. Yeah,
he literally couldn't. He was just he'd pick the worst spot, and you're like, what the fuck? You just ran into your own offensive lineman's ass when there's
a big opening over here and you go this way.
Yeah, there's a hole the size of jelly roll here, and you run into your left guard's ass. I don't understand how that's possible. But that's why we were able to hoodwink the Colts for that. So thank you.
God, we ripped them off. I love it.
A little bit more news from the Cleveland Browns, or football, I should say. The Huntington Bank Field in Brook Park is officially official. It was the worst kept secret. It was like Thanos, inevitable. This thing was coming to Brook Park. There was no doubt about it. Anybody that thought otherwise, I can't believe there's still people trying to shit on it. I couldn't be more excited for it. I'm so happy that it's coming there. No bullshit. You're probably going to be able to see it from the outside of my work every day. I'll be able to walk out the front of my work, look up, and just see the Brown Stadium. I'm that close.
It's going to be so cool. Once it's all done and built, the entire area that they're doing over there, all the shops, the restaurants, the bars, how renovated it's going to be. And you know what? Honestly, just think about too, what they're going to do downtown on the water line. If they're smart about it, they level that entire stadium and just put more development stuff down there for more entertaining things to do. Right? It's good for everybody, but people don't want to think like that though.
Yeah, I mean the Flats is booming. Any weekend in the summer when the Browns aren't having a season, the Flats is popular. Even in the wintertime, you can go down there on a Friday or Saturday night and you'll catch a good crowd in the Flats because there's people going out. They like going to bars and nice clubs, whatever. So yeah, if they do something cool down there, the downtown's not going to die. The Browns Stadium gives them one day every few weeks because they only get 8 games at home. So it's not like downtown's living and dying by the Cleveland Browns. It was living and dying based on just good business. If you're a good bar, you have good prices, good food, people are going to keep coming to you. If you suck, you're going to not be there for long. That happens. And yeah, personally, I'm very excited. Again, I work literally damn near across the street from this area. So I can get to Angle Road in about a minute from my job. And once this opens up in 5 years, assuming I'm still there, when there's all these shops and businesses and bars and stuff like that, I'll have a whole new area to go to every day for lunch or stuff like that. Or after lunch, I can just be let's just run here. It's right across the street. So I'm excited for all of that. Obviously, it's going to be really cool that now we can have huge events in Cleveland, unless they stick to Vegas, which it's looking like they are. The WWE typically would look for a place like this to host a WrestleMania, which would be awesome to have in Cleveland. They would look to host a Super Bowl in this new state-of-the-art stadium. We would get huge events. We are now capable of hosting giant concerts any time of the year, whereas opposed to Cleveland Browns Stadium is an outdoor venue. You can only get concerts there in the summertime. And again, it's an outdoor venue, so it's all weather pending. This would change the game. We're going to go from 10 events a year to 20 to 25, maybe more, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you talk about packing this place, the revenue that brings is tremendous. I love it. I'm so excited for this to happen. This is, again, when I first saw the rumors, I was like, holy shit, that'll be so cool. And then once I started seeing the photos and the projected look of it all, I was blown away. I couldn't be more excited. I think Jimmy Haslam's super proud of it. I think obviously he's a billionaire. He's worth a fuck ton of money, and billionaires are pretty much all about pissing contests. And I've been to Dallas. I've been around Jerry World, and it's beautiful. It's state of the art. I think Jimmy Haslam wants to say, fuck you, here's my Jimmy World. And
I think this also forces Hopkins to upgrade the airport too. Which
everything around the area in Brook Park has to step up.
That they're going to be due to upgrade the airport, because eventually what they should do, if they're smart, is run some kind of underground like tram from the airport to the stadium. You know, if people are flying in or whatever they're doing,
like an underground railroad.
Yeah, something just to get to the stadium from there, because it's right across the street. That way you're avoiding people walking across. What is that? Whatever the road is right there, not Angle Road, but whatever the road is.
257 or whatever.
257, right? Yeah. So just be smart and do something cool like that. But it's going to force the airport to upgrade its shit around that area. And plus, every house around there's money just went up. Like the value of their house just went up. Friend of the show, Jory, his house is right over there. His value is going to go up. Dave, Sean, his house is going to go in value. So like all these places are eventually going to be worth more money than they are now. People are going to live close to the stadium. So good for them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there are residential houses right over in this area, like across the street, honestly. So there are people that are going to be in really good spots. And yeah, I mean, there's a rapid station that's damn near across the street, right over there, right by the airport. The walk from the rapid station on Brook Park Road to the Brown Stadium, where it's projected to go, is really not that far, not that much further than like Tower City to current Brown Stadium, which is, it's not a fun walk on a shitty day, but on a good, nice day, it's not that bad of a walk. It's like 20 minutes. So there's definitely transit opportunities. I think I did see a thing a while ago that Hopkins did announce they're doing like a $2 billion renovation or something like that. They're doing a huge renovation to Hopkins already before this was official. So they're way ahead of you on that.
Come back home, I'm like, God, this airport sucks. Like they just need to do something different.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I haven't traveled in a while. It's been a few months since I've had to fly anywhere. But yeah, like you go to other airports and you're like, oh fuck, this is awesome. And then I land in Cleveland and I'm just like, maybe it's because it's home. I'm just like, I want to get the fuck out of here. When I'm in other ones, I'm like, oh, let me go see what, like I'm stuck in an airport for a couple hours. I'm like, let me go look at this restaurant and I'll sit at this bar. When I'm in Cleveland, I'm only there to leave for the most part. So Hopkins smells funny. George, that's just you, I think, buddy. I've never noticed the smell. So yeah, another exciting thing that just happened this week. I didn't even get a chance to put it in the notes. I forgot about it. They are building one of those weird viewing stadiums where you go and you can sit down.
Oh my God, I cannot wait for that, bro.
I forgot what it's called, but I completely forgot to mention this. I wanted to.
Susma or Kuzma or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah. So they're building one of those. I'm sure everyone's seen them on social media where you sit there and it looks like you're sitting in you're on the field and you're going to watch a game on like a fucking 1,000-inch screen or even bigger. It's huge. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be a whole experience for everybody. And I think it looks awesome. I'm excited for that. And it's funny. People are trying to hold that against Haslam and they're like, huh, look at all this nice shit coming downtown and Haslam's moving. I think he's making a mistake. And it's like, no, those two things wouldn't have worked that well together, because now if you don't want to go to Brook Park, you can go watch the game there downtown and experience downtown, and everyone else going to the game can go experience it in Brook Park. I think those are perfect to be separate entities, in my opinion. But no, I'm really excited for that to happen. And it's connected with the with Dan Gilbert, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse connection bullshit. Like I think he's part of the investment group. So yeah, Cosm, however you pronounce it.
Cosm, there you go, yeah.
So yeah, it looks really cool. I was kind of hoping George would have popped a picture up by now, but he didn't. I'm kind of out of things to talk about with it. If you guys are familiar with it, if you're not, look it up. Look up what a Cosm is. There's only a few in the country, and there are more coming. Here we go. Look at my man. See, I have to call him out a little bit, but he's on top of shit. So you're in. This is you. It looks like you're there at the game, but you're just sitting in the crowd.
Yep.
Cool as fuck. I can't wait for it. I'm excited. I will go there and drink.
I mean,
many a beer.
For the first little while. I mean, do we know where it's going though?
I forgot. Didn't they just do like a weird ceremonial? They put a rafter down or something like that yesterday. They did like a weird ceremony thing for it. I think I read that it was going to be what was it, like East 4th, Euclid. Fuck, I just saw it yesterday. I forgot. I'm sure it's out there.
At the intersection East 4th, Prospect, and Huron Road.
Prospect and Huron, that's right.
Adjacent to Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, I think that's pretty much right across the street from Harry Buffalo.
Oh, that parking garage, right?
I think it's that parking lot. I think that's that intersection because I mean East 4th isn't that long. It goes from the chocolate bar to the Q. So there's not if it's on East 4th, there's nowhere else to go.
Before I go there, but I will absolutely go there for a game one time because that'd be fun as hell to watch. This football or something, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to go, but I'd like to pick a random like something that's not going to be super crowded, like. I don't know, like maybe like a regular season Cavs game would be fun to go watch there where it's not going to be super swamped just to experience it. And then from there I can...
The inner part, it has like I think a betting level, then it has like the top bar to it as well, like you're seeing here. So it's like it's a whole like environment. I mean, Cleveland's starting to turn into a small little hidden gem, you know?
Hey, you heard Bert Kreischer, I'm sure, make his comments where he said he thinks Cleveland is like one of the best cities he's ever been to. And he's like, he was dead serious about it. Or I think he said Ohio is like the best state he's ever been to, but like he loves Cleveland. Cleveland's a nice little place.
We were downtown Sunday for the Guardians game, and we ended up going to East 4th and went to that new Jolene's bar. I know you're not a big fan of country, but it was actually kind of cool. They had a whole rooftop bar and everything with swings and everything. It's pretty cool. I forget what bar was there prior to that, though, but I don't remember what was there, but it's a pretty cool bar.
I'd have to look it up. Where is it on East 4th? I'm pretty familiar with there. Right. Excuse me, with that area. Next to Wonder Bar. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Looking at it now. You know, Google's a miracle.
It is.
Occupied by Greenhouse Tavern.
Greenhouse Tavern. That's right. I was going to say Butcher and the Brew, but Butcher and the Brew is still there across the street. So that's why I was like, that's not it. Yeah, I've been to Greenhouse Tavern. They weren't there for very long.
Yeah. So it took over. So it has 3 levels. So you walk in and it has like you walk down steps. They got a big old bar down there.
Yep.
But it's got a couple, I don't know, fun things to do. And then you go up one level. It's got a mid-level bar with like seating areas. And then you go up to the roof. You walk out. There's a huge bar that overlooks the entire East Sports part. And there's like swings by the bar you swing on. And then they have like a thing where you take ice shots and you throw it at a bell. After you're done, it's kind of cool. We did one of course.
Interesting.
Yeah. And of course, it plays country music, which I'm a fan of. So it was a good time. Yeah,
that part I could live without personally, but I would check it out.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. We've reached that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for everybody's favorite segment. It is time for Just the Tip.
Look, I have a honorary mention because it's been so long, right? I have to mention this before. I didn't send a picture of it, but Tires, the series on Netflix with Shane Gillis, fucking hilarious. By the way, love that show. Have you watched it or not? I'm sure you have. I mean,
I have. I've seen them all. Yeah, it's funny at times. I also feel like there's good and bad with it. I like it. I do enjoy it. I watched it
this past week, and I just finished it last night. I was in the hotel, and I was like, it's a good show.
Oh, I did watch. It's not my pick this week, but I did watch that Bad Thoughts show that you told me about with Tom Segura. It was funny. It had some good skits, had some bad ones, but overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, yeah, of course, some of them are good, some of them are bad, but like overall, I thought it was pretty hilarious, and especially if you're a Segura fan. I mean, which I think he's funny, right? He's definitely funnier than the other dude who's on the podcast.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer. We'll talk about that another time. I saw Bert Kreischer just got a huge contract from Netflix to do like a sitcom or something like that.
Great. All these
and I'm like,
are getting her comeuppance with Netflix, man. Netflix is doling out money.
Yeah, I need Netflix to go bankrupt.
So, all right, my pick this week is The Waterfront. It's a new series that dropped on Netflix, I believe.
Speaking of
2 or 3 weeks ago. I walked into with just not knowing what to expect, but I did read some good reviews. Some people compared to like a Yellowstone type / like mob type movie, which crossover. So I'm like, okay, I mean, I can get into that. And honestly, it's good. It's a good show. So basically, it's a family who runs a long history. They own like a huge fish, like kind of like distiller shipping place, a boat on up and down in South Carolina. They own a restaurant. They own a shipping grounds, and I guess the dad's father used to run drugs back in the day.
Okay.
He got out of the business, and now they're getting back into it, and that's kind of where the story picks back up, right? So who they're dealing with, all the bad people, and it's a really good show. So if you like that kind of stuff, I think it's worth watching. Each episode's 45 minutes, and it's eight or nine episodes, but really good. And I think they just announced it's coming out season 2 because they did kind of a cliffhanger at the end of where it could go for season 2. So I thought it was really good. So give it a shot.
I have heard about this, so I plan on checking it out. I'm a big fan of the main guy that's the actor in it. I believe he's from Mindhunter. Yeah.
Yep. Which by the way, just got to call back.
There's rumors. There's rumors.
I'm hoping they bring it back because there's so many things they could do with that show.
Yeah, it was a fantastic show. I'm shocked at the amount of money that Netflix spends on other things and like the shit that they put out. Like, again, as we just talked about, the amount of money they're willing to back up the Brinks truck in to give to fucking Burt Kreischer. You can't make another season of Mindhunters when the fans are begging for it.
Justin had his conversation the other night. We're flipping through trying to find something to watch. I'm like, there's too much. There is too many shows, too many movies, too many watch this now, too many. There's just so many. There's too many choices, and I end up just flipping. I spend like 30 minutes flipping through stuff, and then I'll just be like, let's just go back and watch TV somewhere. Like that's where we usually end up sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like it's not my pick for this week, but the Squid Game ended. They brought out their season 3. It's not going to be one of my picks because personally, didn't love it. It's one of those shows of like they brought it back for seasons 2 and 3. In my opinion, should have just ended it at 1. 1 was perfect. It was fine.
The rumor for the U.S. version.
So I heard the creator. I don't want to spoil anything, but the end of season 3 kind of made people think that they're going to be making an American version. And the creator came out and said that had nothing to do with it. That wasn't like a setup for like the ending of it isn't anything to set up more in the future. But I think they're full of shit. I think they're going to do whatever they can to make money. That's kind of my thoughts on it.
They're going to wait a couple years, and they're going to be people like, "Oh my god, where's this version at?" Then they're going to go for it. I mean, honestly, you don't bring that big of an actress to end the series without it potentially going into the future.
That's kind of what I thought. For like a quick, again, spoiler alert for people that haven't seen it. We won't name anything, but like, yeah, some of the shit you see on there, you're like, interesting. Yep. But in my opinion, I didn't like the second and third season at all. I thought it was forced, and I feel like they lost the originality of the first one. It didn't feel like the same show. And I don't know, I didn't care for it personally. But one thing I do love about Netflix is a show called I Think You Should Leave. I've hyped it up multiple times. Tim Robinson, I think, is one of the funniest guys in the world. He had a movie that came out with Paul Rudd. I finally got to see it in theaters. I was so excited. It took me about a month to finally see it. And that movie is Friendship with Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. I was waiting to see this for so fucking long. I will preface with, if you do not understand Tim Robinson's humor and have never seen I Think You Should Leave, you're probably not going to like this movie. I will 100% start it off with that because there are jokes in here, and the way he acts and the way his mannerisms and things like that are very specific to that show. They're not related, but it's just he's very similar in both of them. I'll admit he's not a great actor. It's a comedy movie, so he's just kind of like being funny. But he is very similar as he is into the show. So if you enjoy I Think You Should Leave like I do, and if you enjoy Tim Robinson like I do, you will absolutely love Friendship. In fact, it is now out on demand, and I am probably going to be watching it again this weekend on demand. I loved it. It made me laugh so fucking hard.
I have to watch it. I do want to see it though.
Have you seen I Think You Should Leave the show?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I like. Okay. Yeah, I do like his humor.
Then you'll like it. Paul Rudd was fantastic in it as well. Just overall, it was a fun movie. And again, if you like that kind of humor, it feels like one long sketch from I Think You Should Leave. I found myself literally busting up laughing multiple times in the movie theater, and I really don't do that often when I'm at the movie. This one did it for me. Can't recommend it enough.
Have you watched that show on? I know you don't. You watch how you watch your shows, but have you watched the studio with what's his face?
Oh, Seth Rogen, loved it.
Okay, cool.
That was fantastic.
That's something I've watched too. I just wasn't sure if you've seen it though.
George has a tip. Let's get his in. He says he has one. He's got Paramount Plus, and he has Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. It's the best real Star Trek I've watched for many of the series done. Good writing, and the detail in the character is very good. Just finished 2 seasons of season 3 starting next week. Nice. I've personally never really been a Star Trek guy.
You lost me at real Star Trek because it's not real, George.
Oh, it's real. It's real. Live long and prosper, George. It's real to me, damn it, like wrestling. No, awesome. Check that out if you're into Star Trek. I personally have never – my dad was a huge Star Trek fan, but I've never really watched anything for it. I'm familiar with it, but not my cup of tea.
Devin Booker agrees to a 2-year, $145 million extension with the Suns. Breaking news.
Average ass player. He doesn't move the needle for me. The Suns suck. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Again, guys, we are going to be off for 2 weeks because I am going to South Carolina to spend a week with Tara's family. And I'll be back. Yeah, we're driving. We leave next Thursday right after work. I'm coming home. We're loading up the car, and we're going to drive about a little more than halfway. We're going to stay at a hotel. We're going to find a hotel in North Carolina, get up the next morning Friday, finish our trip to South Carolina, and then stay there for the week. Tara's birthday is the 21st. Her mom's birthday is the 20th. And I think her uncle who lives down there, his birthday is the 22nd. So we're down there for all the birthdays. And it's going to be hot. I'm going to be miserable. Luckily, they have a big air-conditioned house and they have a pool. And I will be living in that. So we will talk to you guys again in technically 3 weeks because we're off for the next 2 weeks. And everyone out there, stay safe. Keep the fireworks away from your eyes. Make sure you're hiding your Epstein lists if you got them because they don't exist. Make sure you're finding your footage that doesn't exist of your prisoners. And we will talk to you again in 3 weeks. I'm sure the world will be very normal and everyone will be friendly and having fun again. So we'll talk to you then. All right, everybody. Anything else, Kyle?
Nope. Have a good night, guys.
All right, Cleveland. That was for you.